The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, but it's also Big Sale Friday, November 20th, 2020, and the show begins now. Shout out to that beat drop from Twine. It is Big Sale Friday. Our 20% off everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com has begun 2 minutes ago, and we can't thank you all enough. Our business, our company would not be able to operate without the incredible humans who support us. So a little way of us saying thank you is having 20% off the entire store going into this holiday season. If you've been wanting or thinking about buying some of our merch, either for yourself or for others, now is the time to do it. 20% off everything. We have holiday sweaters as well. We have some for Christmas. We have some for Hanukkah. We have some for Festivus. We have some for literally everything, and we can't thank you enough. So our way of saying thank you, like most companies do around this time, is a big ass sale, and Big Sale Friday is today. 20% off everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com. And a fun little thing that we tossed in to the mix this morning. If you happen to buy something from the Big Sale Friday sale, which will probably last for, I don't know, the next week. So we haven't figured that out. It'll be at least for the next week or so. If you purchase anything and help support our business, you automatically be entered into winning, to potentially winning one of 3 PS5s.
Whoa!
Gold PS5s.
Gee!
PS5.
How?
There's no way.
Not PS1.
No.
Not PS2.
No.
Not that 3.
No.
Nor the 4.
No.
This is 3 PS5s that are up for grabs that you automatically be entered into potentially winning if you go to store.patmcafeeshow.com and purchase something at 20% off during this Big Sale Friday sale. So we appreciate the hell out of you. This is one of my favorites, obviously. It's everybody knows that paisan there, Tony Fauci, Christmas, and canceled right across the top. There's a lot of things in there I'm sure you'll enjoy. The boys are rocking their favorites. At Tone Diggs is here. Last night, we all picked the Arizona Cardinals to get the win. They were getting points, plus 2.5. They go into Seattle, and the Seattle Seahawks get a win. I had a teaser with plus 7 points or not, so I had the Cardinals at plus 9.5, so I got to win there. You and I also bet the under, so we got to win there. And Kenyon Drake scored a touchdown, plus 140. Got the win there. We're giving out a lot of winners if you pay attention and watch along, but I think the Arizona Cardinals not getting that win was kind of surprising to all of us. Ain't that right, Atone Diggs?
Well, yeah, we had a rule during this season not to bet against Russ Wilson. We didn't follow that rule, and we paid for it.
And I have a rule that I've been experiencing is, although you like the Cardinals, they are going to break your heart. I've lost more money with the Cardinals than any other team I've ever bet on in the history of anything. They are a good team. I still think that. I still believe that. But it was actually nice to see the Seattle Seahawks have a little swagger. It was nice to see. The last couple of weeks, they've not been the same Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks, whenever Russell Wilson's going, and when they're making plays, they're must-see television. They weren't for a couple of weeks. The reason why they were must-see television for the last couple of weeks is because they've just been turning the ball over at a rapid rate. Their defense seemed to be non-existent last night. Looked like the Seahawks had some juice. Okay, Carlos Dunlap with a game-ending sack. Congrats to the Bengals for getting rid of him.
Nice job.
Get him the hell out of town, Cincinnati. Good idea. He's been playing good. It just felt like the Seattle Seahawks had a much better night than they have, obviously, in a couple of weeks, and it felt like they had juice. Like I think swagger, confidence, and juice is a big deal. Felt like the Seahawks had it. A lot of decisions there at the end for the Arizona Cardinals, offensive-wise and also strategy-wise, was very interesting. I think all the Arizona Cardinals bettors were watching that last drive where they stalled out at like the 28 and they had a lot of time left, couple timeouts, and they just took 3 shots at the end zone. It was very confusing there. But hey, young quarterback, young head coach. They'll go through it. They'll still be a good squad. But congrats to the Seattle Seahawks on getting a dub here on Thursday night. And this weekend, there's some great games. I mean, there is some great games this weekend. The Patriots are normally a team where you say, hey, must watch television. Not really anymore, but this guy will be watching them. Alongside the Patriots this weekend, what are some other things you're looking forward to at Boston, Connor?
Well, I can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to come into Indianapolis and just dice up the best defense in football. It's going to be very nice to watch.
Why do you got to do that?
What do you mean?
Why do you have to just, the way
You asked what I was looking forward to, and I can't wait for Rodgers to come into Indy and burn the goddamn place down.
Okay, all right, that's very interesting, and I guess we'll just go right to it right now then, as opposed to introducing the guy sitting right next to you who has a vested interest in that game pretty heavily because he's an owner of one of the teams. At Ty Schmidt, big Green Bay Pack. Are you going to the game this weekend?
I don't think so. I was thinking about it, but the ticket prices for two very good teams still very, very high.
Well,
so.
that's all supply and demand, my friend.
Exactly.
I think there's only like 1/10 of the stadium is going to be filled or something like that, so there's only a certain amount of tickets. You're going against, and people don't know this, but in Indiana, there are numerous billionaires that call this place home, okay? Like numerous. It makes no sense, by the way. I would never have guessed it whenever I moved here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Morgantown, West Virginia. I would have never guessed that Indiana had some humans who have the money. A lot of companies, this is the hub, this is the home, a lot of presidents, a lot of founders and everything like that. That's who you're competing with trying to get tickets, especially whenever it's like Aaron Rodgers, those people.
Right.
So I think it has become a pretty high demand thing, especially with how good that defense has been playing. Phillip Rivers, he's starting to ball out.
Yeah, all right.
How do you see the game going, Ty?
I mean, I think it's going to be a very close one. I am a little worried about the defense. It's very good, but also, if you've listened to Hammer Don, Michael Lombardi thinks that Rodgers is going to go into that game and be confident, be able to throw how he wants to. I mean, it's going to come down to whether or not they can get pressure on Phillip Rivers. If they do and make him uncomfortable, I think they'll be okay, but we'll see.
Not that he'll be rushing Phillip Rivers, but Lazard is back. Right?
Yeah, well, hopefully. They still haven't confirmed whether or not he's going to play, and then Devontae Adams missed practice as well, so we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, no. What will the tone of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday be next week after he travels here to Indianapolis to play the Colts? The Indianapolis Colts are favored by 1.5 right now, so Aaron Rodgers is an underdog coming into Indianapolis. For me, it's a little bit of an interesting situation to be in.
Sure.
It's a very interesting situation to be in. So we took it to the people. At Viva Lazito, your poll for the day is one of the most important ones I've been a part of here.
Oh, yeah. Who should Pat be rooting for this weekend? The team that overpaid him millions of dollars or the team that has his best friend playing quarterback? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Right now, Colts, second place, 48.6%.
Yeah!
Packers, 51.4%. It is a tight one. Very tight.
Very close one. And to be honest, that's exactly how I feel inside, too. It's like, hey, they grossly overpaid me to do what I did for them for a long time, the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Irsay, legend of a man. Yeah. He literally let us just use his plane to fly. And fed us steaks and everything like he paid for this building to be built. I mean, there's a lot of things that man has done. And Chris Ballard's been on the show. He's a very nice guy, but I mean, what Aaron Rodgers has done for us is
pretty great as well.
Immense.
Second to none.
I mean, it is unbelievable. And he's on the show every week. He's been incredibly nice to us. I feel like it's like, what do I do here? Grossly overpaid. All right, set my whole family up for success and everything like that. We're the guy who's like, hey, best friend, a really good guy. Yeah. Like if I don't support him, am I a bad friend? Which, by the way, would be something that I would like to work on maybe 2021, be the best friend I could possibly be. Is that the right thing to do, man? Sir, what are you going to say?
I will say you can't put a value on a great friendship.
Yeah, I know. And that's what a lot of people have been saying.
And current friendship.
Yeah, with all of us.
And you like happiness.
So,
you love happiness, and which team is more likely to win a Super Bowl?
How bad is if you...
The guy invited Ty to his house in California.
We've never been invited to a Colts game.
Yeah.
You have. But
I swung the hammer, though.
Better for the show, too.
What's that?
Better for the show, too, if Rodgers plays well.
You had a Tuesday after he loses?
Man, I did not expect to get this deep into these emotions this early into the show. Big Sale Friday,
Right.
I was
Feel Good Friday.
We got Bob Spillane of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got Field Yates joining us. Yeah, we got some phone calls, 1-888 Mad Dog 6. There's a lot of good things. There was good momentum coming in the show, and now automatically we're into the heart-torn situation.
Yep.
And I'm not pumped about it for the next 2
Are you
hours.
wishing for a tie?
No, that'd be terrible.
Worst case scenario.
That's a
Yeah.
lose-lose. I just want to make sure. I want to put it on the table.
That's why, like, for instance, I don't like to be in the selection process whenever I say, like, hey, insert name a person's favorite comment wins some merch on my things. I don't like being the judge of things, okay? Because you're automatically to blame, right? So
referee.
if somebody doesn't win, they hate you. If a person wins, they like you, but that's only one person. And by the way, once they win, they just kind of fade off. That was kind of a fun thing. Everybody else.
Never hear from them.
Yeah, everybody else, they are not happy with you. So if it ends up 50-50, everybody knows that I'm going to have to make the decision then. Oh, so Pat openly chose. It's like, no, I went with my people. Okay, I went with a poll,
Man of the people.
which is what I'm going to do.
It's at half now. 50% each.
All right, see, that's it's at half. It's at half. It's a half and half over there. You can look at that half positive or half negative. I'm just going to say, hey, the people will tell us who we should be doing. And this is a people show. That's why Big Sale Friday, 20% off everything. Store.patmcafeshow.com. At Boston Connie, you're going to say something.
Well, yeah, interesting enough with the poll is, typically you fade the poll if you want to win money on Thursday.
Yeah, last night, by the way.
Bets.
Yeah, that has, I don't know what the records are. Gumpy's going to have to do some nukes on that. Every time we've done the Who Should We Be Hammering Tonight, the opposite, now Gumpy would have to actually look into this. I'm not 100% sure. But the opposite has won every single time.
Yeah.
Yesterday, there was 4 options. And the lowest option was the only lock of the night. That was the under, which is why Diggs and I took it, was strictly because of that poll. And
Both
it's,
low.
It's not because it's not both lower ones won. Yeah, but it's not because we don't trust the people.
No.
It's because that's basically what Vegas does. Whenever Vegas is setting the lines and shit, that's exactly what they're doing. Oh, what does everybody think it's going to be? It's going to be this? Okay, perfect. Well, we need to remain wealthier than everybody else forever, so we're going to do this instead. So if you really, and by the way, the people that are doing that poll, I don't think listen to the show, so this is good for just us here that are listening and watching. That poll on those Thursdays, we definitely look at it.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely look at it. But just remember, if we're trying to make money here and try to take all of FanDuel Sportsbook's money, we just go with the opposite of what the poll's doing because that is what the casino's doing. So it doesn't matter how you feel. If we're going to make strictly business decisions here, that is what we need to do going forward. And I think we all need to agree. Everybody say aye? Aye. Yeah, okay. I thought so. Yeah, so we're just fading the people all the time. But what happens when?
The only one, we
happen.
talked about it recently. I think the only one that they got right was the Vikings-Bears.
Oh,
They
come
picked
on.
the Vikings, and that's the Bears' fault.
Let's go to some phone calls here before we get to our first break here on this Feel Good Friday. Can't wait to hear what Jay has to say over there in Baltimore. What's going on, Jay?
Hello, Patrick. How you doing this afternoon? What's happening?
Hey, great voice, man. I don't know exactly who you are, but I want to let you know, voice is fantastic, pal.
I appreciate it, Pat. It's Jai, by the way. Jai, J-A-I.
Yeah, he wrote J-A-I there, but you should have probably told him J-Y-E, right, for the pronunciation thing. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of put Mitt into a little bit of a puzzle there. So I'm not going to blame Mitt. I will blame myself for not being sophisticated enough or cultured enough to know that J-A-I is Jai. And that's potentially because I grew up with a J. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's just like a natural thing. So that's on me, Jai. What do you want to talk about, pal? Oh, are the Ravens dead, dude? Do they hate each other in that locker room? What's going on over there?
Well, as a Baltimorean but a Bengals fan, I'll tell you that from an outside looking in that things are not looking good for the Baltimore Ravens. The center, Matt Sakura, is a complete mess. Their offense hasn't been the same offense that we have been accustomed to watching in seasons past with Lamar Jackson, MVP, and all that sort of stuff. They're playing the Titans, which last time they played them back in January in the playoffs, they gave them a hard time. But it's not the same Titans defense that we saw at the back end of 2019 heading into 2020 in the playoffs.
Attaboy, Jai! Let's go, Jai!
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I think the Titans are going to get off the schneid and win this weekend, but it would not shock me if the Ravens...
Oh, Jai, see?
Don't sit on the fence, dude.
Jai was so good there for a while.
Come on.
Hey, good breakdown there by Jai.
For sure.
Jai's like, hey, I'm in the city of Baltimore. I'm observing and reporting, okay, what I've been seeing. Not the same attitude towards the Ravens right now.
No.
And they're changing things up. I think it just came out that the offense coordinator said they're going to have to change their identity or something going forward, or they're going to have a new, whatever the case was. It's very interesting because Lamar Jackson, over a week ago, was on Rich Eisen's show saying, hey, everybody knows what the hell we're doing all the time. And he didn't say that, obviously. He said that they're calling out what we're doing before we're doing it. And it was an interesting quote. And it was so interesting that it was literally just like a headline everywhere. It's like Lamar Jackson said, and you would assume that potentially rattled some things. But then they play against the Patriots and not great, okay? Now, what is the relationship of that locker room right now? What are the coaches and what are the players like? Because this is just like, not just like, okay, I shouldn't say that, but this is similar to the situation down here in Dallas when the players started leaking that the coaches couldn't coach and this team stinks and everything like that. Whenever Lamar gets out there and says, yeah, you know, seems like we're a very fucking predictable team at this moment. I would assume that's Lamar and the teammates of his having that conversation where they're like, man, we always do this. Like, there's more we can do. I would assume that's a conversation that's potentially happening. Now, I still have yet to hear Lamar's quote on Rich Eisen, so that is a bit ignorant of me to judge it off of that. But the fact that it was a headline everywhere saying that they know what we're doing, I would assume that it was I don't think Lamar meant it as a shot at the coaches, but I do believe that's potentially a narrative in the locker room of, hey, we could probably do more and we're not doing it. And then you saw Hollywood Brown's tweet a couple weeks ago about never using the soldiers that they have. I mean, it feels like that locker room's not the same. Last year, remember, big trust, woo-woo. There's a lot of dancing going on. And granted, Lamar danced a little bit in Indianapolis when he played, and they're still winning games, everything like that. But that camaraderie of a group between in the synergy of an entire team coming together, both coaches and players, it doesn't feel like it's the same as it was last year. And that could be bad for the Ravens. But for the Titans now, they ain't got our guy, right-hand man, Taylor Lewan. They've been a completely different team since they lost their, franchise left tackle, just like the Ravens have been a very different team since they lost their franchise left guard, Marshall Yanda. To Jai's point, I don't think anybody knows what the fuck's going to happen in this game right here.
Well, and for this game, so there's 7 teams in the AFC with 3 losses, and 5 spots for those 7 teams basically in the playoffs. The Ravens are the 7th seed, the last team in the playoffs right now, and then the Browns and Titans are looking in, both at 6-3, all the same records. These are huge games this weekend.
Huge games. There's a lot on line. Just like last night, it was a huge game. But immediately after watching that game last night, I go, are the Seattle Seahawks back? And you're like, I don't know. Russ got sacked like 4 times in the first half. That's probably a pretty problematic thing. And are the Cardinals dead? It's like, I don't know. So going into last night, everybody was like, this is a massive game for the NFC West. We're going to learn so much. And here we are on Friday. It's like, did we really learn anything?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seattle Seahawks get a great win, but that doesn't mean that they're going to continue doing it going forward if they can't protect Russ like it seemed like they couldn't last night. In the Cardinals, a couple dumb decisions away from potentially being a good, that's the NFL, though. That's what's good about the NFL. We're going into week 11, and although there are a couple teams that we go like, these are the teams, it feels like there's a lot of parity right there in that middle low. Now, there's some shit. Let's not get it twisted. There is some shitty shit down here.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of parity right here. Who's going to get hot? Nobody knows.
So last night we really didn't learn anything, but Seattle has the easiest remaining schedule left. They have the Jets, the football team, the Giants, the Eagles, the Niners, and then the Rams. So that does, with that win last night, probably put them in the driver's seat for the West.
But if the Arizona Cardinals win last night, what we would be saying this morning is, but the Seahawks have the Jets, the football team, it would still be the same thing. You know what I mean? And I love the NFL, man. It's
the best.
I fucking love it. What do you got going on?
For the Ravens, too, they're missing Calais Campbell on the D-line. They're missing Brandon Williams. They're starting D-tackle. They're missing a middle linebacker. And the Pats just ran all over him. So Derrick Henry.
Calais. Well,
colitis is in my head. That's kind of why.
I do have colitis.
He does have colitis.
That is kind of probably why I morphed the two.
But also, I mean, if we want to get real deep here and showcase the vitamins potentially in the room,
can't wait.
He spells his name Calai, right?
Yes.
Jay that just called us.
Yeah.
Jai, Jai.
Jai.
So you say, that's what you potentially got caught up in the Jai situation.
Yeah, see, and with the A's and the I's and the S's.
Baltimore.
Yeah, you just never really know how it's supposed to. I mean, it's J in French.
It's Calais Campbell, by the way.
Yeah, Calais Campbell.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, they're missing him. Either
He's
way,
hot.
The defense of the Ravens is a little bit depleted, so they might be able to run all over him like the Pats did last week.
Hey, in that Browns-Eagles game, which you mentioned, important for both of them there. Important for the playoff picture and everything for both of them, even with the Eagles, with how they've been. Myles Garrett being out is a big deal. That came out this morning. Defensive Player of the Year candidate the last 2 years. Last year, obviously, that got halted whenever he played whack-a-mole with Mason Rudolph's skull with the helmet that he took off of Mason Rudolph's skull and got suspended. He was in Defensive Player of the Year conversation there for the Browns, by the way, which were not in really playoff contention for a long time. And then this year, Myles Garrett just got broken off. Still a game wrecker for everybody that plays the Browns. He's out because of COVID-19 protocol. Here we go. Now, or do the Eagles have a chance?
Ooh.
Do the Eagles have a chance stealing a game here that they were never supposed to be a part of because Myles Garrett is out? And I think it definitely helps. I'm gonna say it definitely helps them out a lot. What are the Eagles getting in this game?
I believe it is 3. It may have moved up to 3.5.
No, it's still 3.
But what happens whenever Myles Garrett goes out? Does it go back down or no?
Nothing has happened yet, which is
that's weird.
They probably just figured the Eagles O-line will let anybody through. So
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Some more developments on this weekend's game. The big story of the morning is Taysom Hill will be starting for the Saints this weekend, as opposed to Jameis Winston. This is massive. Earlier in the week, I was talking to Schefter. We were talking to Schefter, and Schefter didn't know who they were going to start, Jameis or Taysom, but everybody pointed immediately back to last year whenever Drew Brees got hurt and they went with Teddy Bridgewater instead of Taysom Hill. And everybody assumed that they would go with Taysom Hill because early on last year, maybe even last offseason, like over 2 years ago or whatever, Sean Payton was describing Taysom Hill as the next Steve Young. Like, hey, we got a guy here that we love. And although we play him at a bunch of positions, we think he's the next Steve Young. So then last year, whenever there was a chance to potentially see how he would be as your future Steve Young, if you were to go with him, they put Teddy Bridgewater in there. Teddy Bridgewater goes 5-0, by the way. Makes himself $20+ million a year with the Carolina Panthers. And now this year, same type of situation happens. Drew Brees gets rib fractures on both sides. Macho Man Randy Savage is coming in there and collapses lung with elbow drops from the outside looking in. And now he's out, and it's like, okay, what are they going to do? And the thought was the same thought that it was last year. You have a chance now to find out whether or not this guy is your future starting quarterback. You're going to see how he is in the team meeting room, in the locker room, in the offensive meeting, during practice, walkthroughs, workouts. He's the guy. You're going to get a chance to literally get a sample of what it would be like with this guy if he was your franchise quarterback, the same guy that you're paying like $17 million to. You get a chance to see whether or not this guy could be the guy that you think he's going to be. Last year you didn't do it. Are you going to do it this year? And I think everybody at the beginning of this week was like, they're going to go with Jameis because they like how much Taysom can do outside of just the quarterback position. Special teams, whenever he's running the gadget plays, the RPO stuff he was doing, which I would assume we're going to see a lot of this weekend. They're just going to do that because they don't want to lose him everywhere else. This morning it was announced by everybody who I think has been very accurate with situations happening in the New Orleans Saints, Shefty to be included in that conversation at the top of it. Taysom Hill starting this weekend. It's like, all right, now we get a chance to see whether or not what Sean Payton's been pitching this entire time about this guy being their guy. Now we get a chance to see it. And I would assume he's been a starter all week. This is probably a decision that was made last week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Like, hey, if he's out, you're in. How has he handled it all week? How will the team respond? Now the defense knows, like, okay, we have a potential different offense coming on the field with us. And I'm excited to see what Sean Payton draws up for him, right?
Yeah.
If you think about Sean Payton and those offenses, the way they're always so successful and the way Drew Brees has broken every record is because, no offense to Drew Brees, okay? Drew Brees, very good quarterback, and spin the ball and everything like that. But it feels like people are always open. And it feels like we throw the ball to playmakers at like 6 yards or whatever, and then they'll just shake 10 people and pick up 5, pick up 6, pick up 7, or 70 to the house or whatever, you know? So will Taysom Hill take that style of offense? Will it become an RPO style offense like we see from Kyler and Lamar, and because he can definitely do that? I'm excited to see what Sean Payton decides to do with this because I assume there's been some weeks in the offseason where Sean Payton has dreamed up some things if Taysom Hill was to be our quarterback, just strictly off of the fact that he talks about Taysom Hill in a fashion as if he sees him as the future.
How much does it affect like special teams? And I mean, because it seems like he hasn't done it as much this year, but lining up in the slot, like a lot of those plays do go for touchdowns in the red zone. Like, are they going to miss him at all, not playing at like either one of those positions? I
would assume the gadget plays will be missed, but they also got a kid, quarterback. He's in Indiana. He's from Indianapolis. He went to Penn State. Then he played somewhere else, a red school. He's a quarterback, taller, skinnier white dude.
Mitt sent it in the chat the other
But he's
day.
an athlete.
Tommy Stevens?
Tommy Stevens. He's an athlete. Look for him to potentially
Yeah,
be
do
in
the
the
same
gadget
thing.
role or whatever, you know what I mean, with Taysom doing this whole thing. But special teams. Now, anytime you can get a freak athlete on special teams, you do that, right? And there's a reason why there's a special teams pro bowler, because there's some guys that change the game. I don't think just moving Taysom out of there and putting somebody else in. Now, Taysom, a couple years ago, I think he was making every tackle. He'd score a touchdown, then he was immediately making the next tackle. I haven't seen that much this year. I don't think Taysom's dominating in the special teams chart, so I won't miss him there. The gadget plays, though, because when you get in the red zone or in Green Bay, the gold zone, the field gets so small, and everybody said this, it gets a lot tighter down there. You got to create space and everything like that. But you really do. Like, back in the day, they used to treat the 2-point conversion play like your special play. Like, there was, because people didn't go for 2 as much. So whenever somebody had to go for 2, it was like, what's their 2-point conversion play? It was like, here's a special penalty kick almost, or a free kick. Here's a special play that was made in this whole thing, right? Now it happens so often, it's just a part of the offense. But when you get into the gold zone, as Green Bay calls it, or the red zone, everybody else calls it in the history of football, there has to be some creativity down there. Because with the way offenses are and with how fast defenses are now, it's tough to open things up if you can't just hammer somebody right in the mouth or whatever. So you got to get creative down there. So those gadget plays are very important for the Saints, I think, because there isn't as much space for Sean Payton to do the fuckery with to open up everything else.
Just come out in the wishbone. I mean, run the ball 50 times with Taysom Hill, with Alvin Kamara, Latavius
He was
Murray.
out of practice yesterday, too. So that's
Who, Alvin?
Oh.
Yeah.
You see, if he's out now, you got to really take a look going the other way there, because that guy is.
Yeah.
Michael Lombardi, co-host of Hammer Don, which is on every Monday, Thursday, Friday at 3:30. He's like, give the MVP to Kamara, because he just gets the ball, change the game. If you're on that defense though, and they're going to run the wishbone, you're pretty pumped up about that. All right.
Here we go.
All right, let's kill that clock. We got like 30 snaps this weekend. Let's figure it out, boys. I'm pumped to watch that game, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pumped to see how Taysom Hill does, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's only thrown 18 passes.
And then on the other side, you got a team that could be great or could be terrible.
Yep.
You know what I mean? With the Falcons. Any given weekend. You don't know what you're going to get. All right, let's get to a break. More phone calls on the other side on this feel-good big sale Friday. November 20th. 20% off everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com is a way for us to say thank you to you. If you've been waiting to buy some merch, now is the best time to get it because it is at prices that it won't be for the rest of the year. And also, we have some holiday sweaters in there, some new shit, shorts, pants, you get it, the whole hoodies, sleeveless hoodies, sweatshirts.
What?
T-shirts.
What?
Tank tops.
What?
I don't know. It is a vast store. I mean, it is.
A lot of stuff in
There's
there.
a lot of stuff in there.
Menards.
We get ADD and we create stuff, and then it just goes up in the store, and then it just sits there.
Yep.
We got stuff up there from like 2 years ago. I wonder if
They'll come in handy one
we
of
could
these
probably
days.
clear some things out, but
Maybe,
we'll
but-
do that another day. Because today we want everything to be available, 20% off everything, and when you purchase, you're automatically entered into potentially winning one of 3 PS5s.
Oh, my God.
Big sale Friday. Let's have a good time with it. We're back on the other side with some of your phone calls. 1-888 Mad Dog 6 Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. This is the Pat McAfee Show. And I'm going to go with the under as well, 57.5. I'm going to go under 57.5. I think it's calling for rain a little bit.
Yeah, a little rain.
Yeah, 40 degrees, little rain. I think defenses maybe show up a little bit more than they have in the past. And for whatever reason, it feels like everybody thinks that the over is going to hit. Even Lombardi alluded to it about being a shootout. So for that reason alone, like I'm just betting the under just because it feels like that is how the over-under normally goes.
Hey, I'll go to the fucking loony bin with you, pal.
We going under?
I'll go to the under with you.
Tony Under's tilting the kilt on this thing.
Cardinals have been an under team this year too. They're 4-0 to the under their last 4 road games.
I could see how a guy like Richard Sherman, who's been in the league a long time and has had success, could be like, hold on. This young little isn't going to dap me up. But on the flip side, Baker's like, well, you're enemy number 1 for me. Because that's how Baker has always operated. And now Richard Sherman says, so you don't see any difference in the way I shake everyone else's hand and the guy who stands back with the petty shake was BS and I took offense to it, then turns and runs off. It's not that big of a deal. It swept the nation yesterday. It was controversy like no other controversy in the NFL world. Joining us right now, Richard Sherman. Everything you do and say is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Baker Mayfield is also a man that everything he does and says is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I wouldn't agree as much, but sure. So I put my hand out, just out of courtesy. And he gives me a little petty slap on the hand. And I took it as disrespect. People can say, oh my God, he shook your hand. Like, what? Oh my God, you were wrong. You can say whatever you want. I don't give a damn.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Like, hey man, I apologize for the misquote there. I did see on video the dap up, although it was a bit petty. I apologize for everything that happened, or are we just moving forward?
Oh, it's going to be a bit of both. It's definitely my bad. I never want anybody to have to deal with some shit some stuff that they didn't do, And so I'll probably reach out to them via text or social media to actually get a hold of them and talk to them in person. First off, that was a great name y'all came up with, like Dapgate. I was crying laughing. But yeah, he definitely deserves an apology, and that's my bad on that.
Richard, I'll tell you what, bro. To show the humility right there to say, hey, my bad on that entire thing. Once I watched the film back, it was different than what I thought. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot more respect for you. They should at least.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
I love this.
When there's that pause.
Yeah, it's coming. And also when you see me searching for it, because it's in the interesting part of this playlist, which, by the way,
Oh no,
it's a sad playlist gone.
What happened to sad
Is there a
playlist?
happiness?
it's a big Feel Good Friday. Of course, the sadness playlist is on.
I moved it down so you'd stop talking about it. Here you are, somehow still talking.
Well, you can't just change something.
Yeah.
You should have just left it. That was on you, dude.
Where's the
You know
happy
how
holiday playlist? You
Well,
know?
here it is.
Super sad playlist is super.
This one's not on that one.
no.
Way too happy.
Super Sundays.
Hold on, and this is on Nick's. Leave Me Lonely. That's on Nick's.
Frankie Lonely.
Nick's just shaking his head in utter despair back there. Just because it's fall, it doesn't mean it isn't time to fire up the grill and enjoy some steaks. Ain't that right, boys?
Hell yeah.
Without a doubt, the best grills to possibly use are Traeger grills.
Oh, yeah.
These things are a game changer. The Traeger wood pellet grill is the easiest way to enjoy wood-fired flavor. Simple to use. You just set it and forget it. Wi-Fi lets you monitor and control the grill from anywhere, and it has the versatility to do it all.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Grill, wood, smoke, wood, bake, wood, roast, wood, braise, wood, barbecue, wood, and more. You can even cook your entire Thanksgiving feast on your grill. Right now, when you visit www.traegergrills.com/Pat and enter code Pat at checkout, you'll get free shipping.
Nice.
Free shipping.
Free shipping, dude. That's TraegerGrills.com/Pat and enter code Pat at checkout for free shipping. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
Now that we're talking about sales, by the way, big sale Friday, 20% off the entire store. at store.patmcafeeshow.com. Let's go. As a way to say thanks for everything you've done for us this year. We appreciate the hell out of you. 2020 has been a bit wild. 20% off everything. You get it.
Let's go.
And with every purchase made, and there were some people, I guess, that have tweeted us that bought like 15, 20 minutes before the Christmas sweaters went up at noon. Potentially because, they were told by our Canadian hero friend, Gumpy, you know what I mean?
Oh.
They were wondering if since it was before noon, because they got an early heads up about the sale being live, you know what I mean? Because of our friend Gumpy, he was always looking out for the people. By the way, because he was one of the people out there for a long time. Yep. Ain't that right, Gumpy? Ain't that right?
Yeah, it said it started at noon, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a few tweets out there that said
we got one of these going on. But anybody that has purchased in, let's say, the last 48 hours automatically entered in to potentially winning one of our 3 PS5s.
Let's go. I'm in it.
Wow. And going forward, obviously. If you purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
It was hard to find those 3.
Oh, yeah.
Still don't know how you obtained them.
Well, when you find one, turns out you probably find a couple in the same spot. And you do hey, you got any more back there? Yeah. Take them all.
Yep.
We got connects.
Not like yours, though.
No.
Yeah. The DeGilio family got the PS5 before it even came out.
Mikey Diggs was playing it on Wednesday last week.
Well, it fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah. I know a guy.
It wasn't free, but
you had to pay cash for it. It's got a Bryce. It's got a Bryce in Montana. What's going on? They're not painting houses. No.
What's going on,
Coach
boys?
Diggs
And
not painting
McAfee, obviously.
Take it easy.
Knows
Well,
a few
actually,
painters.
no, he has other people.
I was gonna ask about Winston and New Orleans, but obviously you guys talked about that. So next question would be shelf life of those old QBs in the league right now. Who do you guys think is going to be around the longest? Probably Brady. But anyway, what do you guys think?
What was that, dude?
Sean Kaiser, Bears quarterback next week. Maybe.
You think he's an old school quarterback?
Well,
the names that were listed on there, I would assume, were like Breeze, Brady,
Ben,
Ryan.
Well, I was thinking about behind like all the other
Rivers.
quarterbacks.
See, I don't think we can put Rodgers in there.
No,
he's not old.
I think
10 more.
I think
left.
more people would though.
I think they would too, but he doesn't play anything like them either.
No, I
not
agree.
granted, Ben doesn't play like Phil or Tom or Drew or anything like that either. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But those drop back, stand in the pocket, dissect the defense, rely on just your vision and being able to throw strictly, nothing else really. I do believe those quarterbacks are probably gone for probably 15 years, and then they'll come back. It'll be something that'll happen where defenses will get to the point where they're not as sophisticated, and it'll just be reactionary defense. And somehow you'll get some super genius quarterback that'll go in there and figure out how to just it'll change. It'll be how you the game will come. Because the game is cyclical.
Oh,
right. The game's cyclical. Just like, by the way, the world is cyclical. Yeah, just like everything is. The football is also that. So I would assume that we'll see a drop back pocket, can't really run that well quarterback play again in the NFL at some point. But I do believe those are going to be very, very, very few and far between at this point. And I think Rodgers is not that guy, though.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Still running for touchdowns at 36 years old.
But
still can move.
Yeah, for sure. When people say like old guard, though, I think they throw him in there just because he's played for so long and done it so well.
As they should, by the way.
Right, for sure.
He's like an OG, I think, which is why everybody has so much respect for the way he's played for so long, because his consistency and everything like that. But he doesn't play like the classic drive. He is the cerebral, athlete.
Yep.
There. No, that's cerebral assassin. Take it easy. Can't be.
Oh, okay.
Can't just be stealing that from King of Kings.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Is that Jesus? No, Triple H.
Yeah,
What's up? What do you want to talk about, dude?
So what you're saying basically is that until Arch Manning comes into the NFL,
Arch can move, though.
can he?
I saw him on ESPN, too. Yeah, he can move.
Whoa.
I think, that might have also been, like, why were quarterbacks that can't run? Like, why was that a thing? It's like pitchers, I guess none of them can hit. It's like, why is that a thing? Is it because they only played quarterback and pitching? Like, they did things where they didn't have to move much? Like, how did these quarterbacks become so terribly unathletic when it comes to running, but still be at, like, a position of athleticism that why did that happen?
Because of the running game, maybe? How much that has changed?
Yeah, but
really?
I'm saying, like, for instance, Peyton wasn't known for being a freak athlete, right?
Right.
He could run, and he did a couple times every once in a while. But I think everybody looking at him, watching him run, you'd be like, Why isn't he more of a freak athlete? Tom, why isn't he more? You're around your workouts are conditioning and agility every single time. But now it's like, if you can't move good, I don't think you're going to be a quarterback in the league. Like, you have to be able to extend plays. You have to be able to move. I don't think there's going to be any of those guys that can't. And why can't they? Why can't some of those people move? Like Phil, I don't think Phil would rather just fall and then even think about running. You know what I mean? Like, why does that happen, I wonder?
I assume that most of those guys are great athletes, like playing basketball and stuff like that,
Shoot,
too.
probably.
Yeah, exactly. But it's
ping pong. It's like the classic gym teacher. Like, if they don't have to move their feet, they're going to beat you.
Yep.
But if they got to move a little bit, if you get some athleticism in there, you got a good chance. And I was taught that by a man named Keith Nonnenberg, who was our high school gym teacher.
Big Keith.
Yeah, and his hand-eye coordination and dexterity was pretty impressive. But if I got him to fucking move a little bit, I was like, oh, okay, all right.
See you later.
This is how we win. Okay, so no longer playing horse, we're playing one-on-one. You know, this is a little, because you're playing horse, he's going to be in there. I think that's a pretty common gym teacher trend.
Oh, yeah.
He beat my ass in tennis one time. I thought that was something I could get him because he had to move. Turns out he was hitting it where he didn't have to move. It was just like... He just stood there basically. And what was that other one? Racquetball, ping pong, badminton. I'll just get my ass beat by this guy. I'm like, am I this much of a scrub that this gym teacher's beating me?
He's been practicing for years.
And he just, by the way, it wasn't just me. He assassinated everyone.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he still got it. He's probably going to be watching this and hear this by somebody. Key, you still got it, dude?
Start stretching.
By the way, because there's a little record I would like to build back up, against you at this point. He's a freak. But those quarterbacks. Like Phillip Rivers, who told us the story, Naeem Hines said he won like 30 for 30 or something shooting. So I would assume if he's just spotting up doing it, he's got that gym teacher athleticism.
Good for Phil.
I don't know if it means anything, but Phillip Rivers, 5'8", 40.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How does that happen?
Slow as
Like,
shit.
how does that happen when you're around like athletes?
Oh, 5'0", sorry. He's a 5'5".
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, that's on me. I didn't see the zero. I didn't see the zero there.
In the history of the combine.
You gave him the snowman there. By the way, big congrats to the snowman.
Yeah. GG.
Congrats.
Jeezy's been my workout partner for, I don't know, thousands of workouts at this point. So I was pulling for him hard last night against Gucci. And I assume there's some people that thought Gucci might have won a couple rounds or whatever. In my eyes, clean sweep or whatever. But at the end, I think the winners were the people that are watching.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The winners were the fans of the rap game. Whenever Gucci and Jeezy settled their beef that has been cooking for 15 years when allegedly a couple of Jeezy's guys went in to rob Gucci and Gucci fired back and killed one of his friends. And then there was some beef there for a long time.
Sure.
And last night, they're so icy. Okay. They settled it.
It's nice.
It was really, it was fun to watch. I would like to, as a massive Jeezy fan, it was a lot of fun to watch. It was just a trip down memory lane with the nostalgia. I think Jeezy could have won last night for maybe 3 hours with bangers. And I think that is the type of thing in those things where you really get a good lead. Now, I saw this comment a couple times, how they wish some of these rappers would use their spades game in strategy in these verses. Because, like, hey, if somebody throws a good card, like, go ahead and just sacrifice the L there in that round and throw out one of your shitty bangers. Because there was a couple rounds where there was banger and then, like, one of Gucci's, like, songs that I knew was a banger. And I was like, it sucks, though, Gucci. I got to go with it because this is a bigger banger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I enjoyed it last night. Jeezy's DJ also... Now, I think his name's DJ Ace. I heard him because he subbed his name into a couple songs where Jeezy potentially had another DJ's name in the song. So I respect that. He was great hype man last night for that too. I enjoyed it. 1.8 million people were watching at one point.
Jeez.
That's just on Instagram, let alone the Apple Music where I was also watching along a little bit. Can't comment though. I try to get some comments in there because it is a who's who in the comments.
Oh yeah, a lot of check marks.
I thought I was going to get in there. Not big enough yet. Gotta change it. But it was a fun night. And Jeezy is one particular musician who has helped me get to where I am. So I felt like I had to go to bat for him last night.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Had to go in there. Like, hey, Jeez, hey, Mr. Snowman, okay, you've done a lot of things for me. You don't know it, but tonight it's my time to show up for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I did it for the G. I did it for the Snowman. Love him. Best in the weight room for any. You just need it. I mean, when I went to West Virginia, 2005, which is basically when Jeezy came on the scene or whatever, before his first, like mainstream album hit, we had his mixtape in the West Virginia locker room because we had a kid from Atlanta who brought it up there. So I heard about the snowman like a couple months before everybody else. So that makes me feel like I was like, hey, I was in like the grassroots. Yeah. And there was like some, like there were some throwback songs he was playing that was just like, it took me right back into the West Virginia locker room where I was either about to vomit or yell. You know what I mean? So it was a good time. Big thanks to Jeezy for getting me where I am. And congrats on the big win last night. And you guys settling a beef that is long overdue. It's
nice.
Long overdue. It was a nice night.
Yeah,
it was. Leading right into Big Sale Feel Good Friday.
Absolutely.
What a week. Shout out to Snowman.
Shout out.
I mean, people were in comments were saying that Gucci was winning some things. It's
Wow.
wild. Listen,
That was Gucci's burners.
Gucci has one of the. Gucci's busy. I saw him. Gucci was busy up there. I saw Gucci has one of the best interactions with a judge in the history, right? When he literally told the judge, bitch, I might be. Whatever. The judge asked if he was potentially intoxicated or something like that. Hey, bitch, I might be. While he's handcuffed there. And that is legendary stuff right there. Okay? Like, I got nothing but respect for that. But Jeezy and I go way back. Way back.
Just like you and Aaron.
What's that poll at right now, though?
It is right now 52-47, so the Colts are winning.
Good news. Let's go to Ryan in Birmingham. As long as somebody's winning, that's all I care.
Fade the poll.
Aloha, boys.
Oh,
fade the poll.
Beautiful Feel Good Friday.
Hey, not too shabby, Ryan. How's it down there in Birmingham?
It's beautiful, beautiful day. Actually, like one of the best days of the year. Fantastic.
Yeah. Big Sale Friday. Hey. Big Sale Friday.
I got a tasty news and a quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right, so Broncos at home against Florida teams since 2005 are 0-10 against the spread. Doesn't make any scientific sense. Hammer the Dolphins.
Okay. Well, by the way, hammer the Dolphins because the Dolphins have been covering for people here the last couple of weeks and making money for them, and Tua is very good. In the Broncos, there has to be – now, listen, we do potentially, if we want to, have a direct connection to the Denver Broncos building.
True.
Okay? We choose not to do that because I like to just speak. And if I have any piece of information in my head, everybody that I talk to, they know that it's coming out. Okay, It's just the way the brain has always been. So I try to keep myself out of those situations. For instance, Vinatieri and I, we text each other or whatever, and we talk to each other. But I will never ever ask him about anything he's planning on doing football-wise because he and I both know that if it's even in there, I'm in front of a microphone 17 hours a week. Okay, a live microphone. Something's going to come out. So I protect me and the people I'm talking to as much as possible because although I'm assuming some people have this ability, like I would assume Schefter and Field Yates and Pelissaro and the insiders, they have the ability to like go ahead and compartmentalize the stuff they're not supposed to say to people, and then I don't. So it's just like I don't have that. I'm like, well, people deserve to hear what. I mean, I heard it, so come on, somebody deserves to hear it. So we have not broached that subject, but I would assume the feeling in Denver is not a good one. Okay, I don't know. The players, coaches, everybody over there has to be feeling a certain type of way after what happened last week. So would that be something to motivate them to come back? Drew Lock threw four interceptions, and there was a couple that were not good interceptions. Looked like a high school quarterback, but everybody potentially looks bad a couple weeks. So how do you feel? The Dolphins seem to be riding a really good wave right now.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like the Dolphins are ascending at this time. And the AFC East is a place that Dolphins can call home at the top of the charts for the next couple of years if they really want to.
Ever since the terrible start last year, Pat, 16-5 against the spread their last 21 games.
Pretty good.
How about it?
Not bad.
Hey, how about that guy coming in with that nuke about the Florida teams traveling?
Dolphins 4-0 against the spread their last 4 in Denver. 7-1 against the spread their last 8 against the Broncos.
To the bunker.
I take your bombs and I bring out nukes, pal.
Do you think the Dolphins are so good in Denver basically because it's hard to breathe in Denver, and it's really hard to breathe in Miami with that humidity. Oh, yeah. And then the Broncos aren't doing as good because everyone's always practicing and wearing a mask during practice, so the altitude is just not a factor anymore.
Yeah, by the way, that's something to think about. Everybody's wearing those mile-high
Bane masks.
I am your father.
By the way, the Steelers have to play with masks on this weekend.
Not a big deal.
Right? Are the Steelers at home? No, the Steelers don't have to. Are the Eagles at home?
They're both away, I believe.
Okay, so with the new mandate
We'll get that figured out.
Governor Tom Wolf, Ross Tucker was reporting this because he listened to a local news station somewhere in Pennsylvania The Steelers, the Eagles, Penn State, Temple, Pitt, whatever other team you're thinking of that's playing football right now in the state of Pennsylvania, they have to wear masks while they're playing because Governor Tom Wolf's new protocol that he put into place for all of Pennsylvania. Pumped to see how this plays out.
It's going to be interesting.
Pumped to see how this plays out. You think, oh my God, if the NFL players are running out there masked up underneath their helmet after getting tested every single day and going in a bubble and lockdown, I'm excited to hear how the NFL and the NFLPA call old Governor Tom Wolf and see how this works out. And I think, I don't know much about Tom Wolf or anything like that, but I feel like if you know a little bit about politics, Tom Wolf's going to get what, just a couple $1 million donation into his campaign or something? No more masks. Soccer players definitely. Football's good though, unless soccer wants to talk. Unless soccer wants to. Isn't that kind of how that whole thing works?
I assume so,
feels
yeah.
like it.
Oh, I mean, I'm not questioning the integrity of anybody. You know,
No,
I'm
never.
not doing that. But I feel like this will get changed within the next week or so
For sure.
because there's no NFL teams playing in Pennsylvania this week.
Question, because I see it sometimes during cold weather games, DBs wear like those ski masks like over their mouth and nose. Are those allowed?
Well, gators are different than those, right? Those you can breathe out of.
Gotcha.
Because you see the air coming out. Those gators, I've been wearing them a lot more now. Now, granted, there's people that say the gators don't work, and then this mask doesn't work, and that mask doesn't work, or whatever. But with the gator, you don't breathe out at all, right? Like you do this whole thing though, and it doesn't go on the other side, which is how they were telling you what a good mask is and what isn't a good mask. Remember, put your mask on, go in front of a candle, and see if you can blow it out. If you can blow it out, that mask ain't worth a shit. You're actually killing yourself and other people. You're dead. Don't wear that mask. Wear this mask, and then this mask has holes in it because it has vents because maybe you want to breathe. Can't wear that mask either. Even if it's a one-way vent and air's only coming in, not going out, can't wear it because maybe there's a little bit better financial interest in this particular set of masks. But the gator, the one that I wear at least, I can't breathe out of. And I would assume that is going to be tough for some particular NFL players or big-time players to be like, what the fuck's going on? Here's from the Washington Post an hour ago. The new Pennsylvania mandate does say plastic shields may be used as face covering, so as long as they cover the nose and the mouth, extend below the chin to the ears, and leave no exposed gap between the forehead and the shield's headpiece. Some NFL players have worn face shields attached to them. Who?
Oh, the ones they first released?
Hockey helmets?
No one's worn that in a game.
This is them trying to soften it, right? This is them like, some NFL players have already done this, which satisfy the NFL requirement for mask use during practices, but others don't like the face shields because they create breathing issues. Yeah, no shit. We just talked about the masks that are, the only masks that are allowed are ones that you're not allowed to breathe out of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is wild. This is wild.
I just hope.
But hey, I just hope everybody survives.
There you go.
Right? Is that what you're about to say?
Oh, yeah. That's all that matters. Health is wealth, baby.
Health is wealth.
It is.
You know what else is wealth? Getting 20% off,
Whoa.
Stored up at McAfeeshow.com.
Yes. Right
now, yeah. How long is the sale going to last? Nobody knows. Nobody
Hurry
knows.
up, though.
This will be interesting because I believe Iowa plays at Penn State this weekend. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, Penn State's got more problems.
Well, I know.
But Penn State isn't even thinking about it. They just found out that they have to wear masks this morning or whatever. And I think they're like, masks? Who cares about that? We got players calling the cops after getting in fights in the locker room.
Whole building's burning down.
The whole building's burning down. There's sexual harassment claims going on in that locker room. I mean,
Nebraska.
That's from a HBO documentary, a miniseries. But there's a lot going on at Penn State. I assume they don't even know about the goddamn mask. Adam Schefter says the exception in Section 3 of the order does apply to players on the field, so players will not be required to wear face coverings while in the game. Oh, so everything we just said was a lie. How about all these people? The local news, Ross Tucker, everybody's talking about how this does not say no to NFL players. And Shefty's like, called the governor, read the fucking contract. Section 3, Clause 2, NFL players are allowed to wear their helmets with no mask on the field.
Which makes sense because NFL doctor Alan Seals looked at genome sequencing and said doesn't happen on the field. Can't get COVID on the field.
Read the fine print, Rob.
There we go, Section 3. Hour 2's on the other side. You got 6 minutes. Go take a shit.
Too much. They really just inflate it back. Did they just send somebody down there?
I don't know the procedure, but I just know they reinflate it.
Not quite, Pat McAfee. Let's talk. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and this is your #1 source for learning about the unique medical side of the world of sports. Someone sent me this clip from the Pat McAfee show the other day where he was talking about how they treat and manage a collapsed lung like Drew Brees had. And no real hate on Pat here. He's not a doctor. He shouldn't know. But they completely misexplained here what they do. And so I'm going to clear it up in this video by reacting here to what he said and fill in the gaps to explain to you guys how they really treat this with Drew Brees' collapsed lung.
Collapsed lung. How many lungs you got? 2?
Yeah, that's it.
So we're off to a good start. Pat McAfee's right here. We have 2 lungs, a right and a left, but within each we have multiple lobes. On the left side, it's pretty easy. We have a left superior lobe, and then we have a left inferior lobe. On the right, a little more complicated, but still pretty easy. We have a right superior lobe, we have a right middle lobe, and then we have a right inferior lobe. So 3 lobes on the right, 2 lobes on the left, still 2 lungs overall.
What's the deal? Everybody talks like, oh, punctured lung, not that big of a deal. Collapsed lung, not that big of a deal. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, usually a collapsed lung is not that big of a deal, but they can develop something called a tension pneumothorax, where that pressure builds up so much in the lung that it can actually push on the blood vessels of the heart, impairing your cardiac output, and can actually be fatal. So typically, yeah, collapsed lungs, while very painful and needing management, aren't always life or death. They can develop into a tension pneumothorax, which actually can be fatal. So they have to be taken very seriously nonetheless.
It's a couple. They work together.
Oh, so you tag team each other? Or
I believe so.
Tag one in, tag one in?
Good point here too. The lungs do work together. There are people who can have a lobectomy, where they essentially remove one of those lobes of the lung, and you can still get enough oxygen perfusion to your blood. So yes, when someone has a collapsed lung, they can still get enough oxygen for kind of vital functions, but you're going to feel very short of breath, and it's going to be super painful.
One picks up the slack.
And when the one collapses, how come do they just send like people go over there and just like take a plunger and like bring it back?
They inflate it.
How's it work? How do the lungs?
All right, so they do not just re-inflate the lung whenever somebody has a collapsed lung, and this is kind of the biggest misconception here from his video.
We went to high school with a kid who had a collapsed lung in a game, and
Also note here, I've had multiple collapsed lungs, so I've kind of been through this in terms of the symptoms and how they treat it, so I have a little bit of experience, unlike a lot of the other sports injuries I talk about.
Inflate it, and then you're out for
What? Wait,
blow it up like a
send something down like a bed, like an air mattress.
Exactly.
And you got somebody just stepping on it.
Yeah, it was like in Space Jam, right?
And then they check the PSI, and then they puncture it. You know what I mean? Like the thing.
Oh, 2 more.
All right, so I know Pat's kind of joking here, probably intentionally, but might not actually understand how we actually treat these. No, you don't go in and re-inflate the lung when the lung collapses. What you do is you suck the air out of the space around the lung, which allows the lung to re-inflate itself. Our lungs are surrounded by this layer of tissue called a visceral pleura, and then there's a parietal pleura that's on the inside of the chest wall. There's a potential space in between those 2 linings, and that potential space is actually at a negative pressure with normal breathing. When you have a collapsed lung, what's happened is there's air that's escaped the lung or gotten in from the outside of the body that goes into that potential space, and the pressure goes up. As the pressure goes up, that increasing pressure actually pushes the lung inward. So it's not really that the lung collapses, so to speak. It's more so that the lung is getting pushed to collapse because of the pressure in the chest building up from excess air. What they actually do to treat these is, if it's an emergency type of situation, they'll take a needle with an empty syringe and they'll stick that into the chest to allow that pressure to blow out and escape from the chest wall to let the lung reinflate. When somebody puts a chest tube in, it's trying to drain the air from the chest cavity, so you're not putting air back into the lung to pump it back up like an inflatable bed. You're pulling the air that's got into that space out so that the lung can reinflate itself.
They really just inflate it back. Do they just send somebody down there?
I don't know the procedure.
So again, no, they don't send anything down there. They come in from the outside, they put a needle in, they put a tube in. That allows the air to escape, which lowers that pressure and lets the lung reinflate.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Big Sale Feel Good Friday. Everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com is 20% off as our way of saying thanks. Hour 2 kicks off here on the Pat McAfee Show. Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. A couple corrections to be made in Hour 1. And, you know, that's what this show does here.
Of course.
Tommy Stevens, quarterback from Indianapolis that went to Penn State, then played for a red college team, who was signed to the New Orleans Saints, who everybody assumed was going to be the next Taysom Hill. I said something about him potentially being the gadget player this weekend. Now, Taysom Hill's the starter for the Saints. Look for this guy to potentially get hot as the Taysom Hill.
Hell yeah.
Turns out he's not even on the team anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he plays for the Panthers. So that one, not possible.
Since when?
That one's wrong. And we read a Washington Post article, which was wrong. Okay, the Washington Post article was wrong. It was reporting that in the state of Pennsylvania, with the new mandate that Governor Tom Wolf has put into place, players are going to have to wear face masks and shields while playing the game. So that would be the Steelers, the Eagles, Penn State, Temple, Pitt. Anybody that's playing in the state of Pennsylvania right now, players would not be exempt from the rule which states they have to wear a mask all the time. In the Washington Post article, they said NFL players have already been wearing full masks on their. They basically alluded to the fact to soften the blow, like NFL players have already been doing this. I said that was bullshit. I don't think anybody has been doing that. Turns out Keelan Cole last weekend did have a hockey helmet looking football helmet and did have the mask all the way down. Now, granted, did it go down below the chin? Was it all the way down? I don't think so, but he did have an entire mirrored-in thing in the 15-degree weather of Green Bay, which was a little bit breezy for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he scored a punt return touchdown.
I was going to say, initially we thought COVID may have made people better at football. These masks have a direct correlation with having a great day on the gridiron.
Yeah, so good for Keelan Cole. So we were wrong there in a couple times in the first hour. That's not normal.
No, it's not.
No, typically, 100%.
But when we do make mistakes, here we are, owning up to them.
Yep, correct.
From Pitt Athletics, Pitt football and Virginia Tech will have face coverings for tomorrow's game at Heinz Field. Okay? But we don't know if that is on the field while playing or off the field. We've seen players accidentally leave their mask on from the sideline and go into the game with their helmet on, and it is awesome, by the way. It looks awesome whenever they do. They have done that in the past. If now Schefter's saying, hey, Section 3 of the law states that players on the field won't have to wear it. And by the way, we trust Schefter around here. If Schefter's saying something, there's a reason behind it. But it seems like there's still potential miscommunication out there from people who haven't read Adam Schefter's Twitter account, which they need to get to it quick.
So what is it? I mean, that was like the most vague thing ever, wouldn't it? I mean, it's guys in the NFL already have to wear masks on the sideline. Can we just assume it's the same thing?
Just want to let everybody know. Also, a correction from the first hour. I did get a text from my gym teacher in high school.
Big Keith?
Yeah, I said he potentially has lost it since I was in high school at anything that doesn't involve moving your feet. Much like we were comparing gym teacher's skill level to the old school quarterback that can't move, but if you get them in something where they don't have to move, they're going to kill you. So ping pong, don't have to move much. They're good. Shooting a basketball, very good, but more so horse than one-on-one. Like that. Tennis, I even got my ass beat and everything like that. And I said there's a good chance that he had lost it. Okay? Just got a text from him. Turns out he has not lost it. He said. He said he has gotten even better.
Still dicing in
still
the
dicing.
gym class.
Yeah, still killing kids, he said. And by the way, I think that might be a standing tradition in our high school, amongst some other things that teachers do. But in our school district, that might be a tradition is that Keith Donenberg will beat the hell out of you in something where he does not have to move.
Oh, is that
he
right?
potentially put a couple chips on the old shoulder competitive-wise, making me walk out of his damn class sweaty, drenched in axe, right?
Okay.
And just got my ass beat by an older man. Like, this should not be happening. I guess he's still doing it. And by the way, he's not that old. He's probably like 40-something now. So he's probably, oh, man. He was probably, how old was he, you think, when we were there? Probably
Young 40s.
Or 30s, maybe, huh?
Great at golf, too.
Great at golf. Don't have to move. That's one of those things. You don't have to move. That's one of those gym teacher abilities. Here's from the University of Pittsburgh Department of Athletics statement about wearing masks. In alignment with the recent guidance from the state officials regarding the current health climate, Pitt's football team will appropriately outfitted for Saturday's game will be, okay, I thought they had a grammatical error in there. That was on me. With face coverings to use on the field and sideline. This is being communicated to Virginia Tech sports medicine staff as well. Okay, can you go back to Schefter's tweet, please? The Section 3 tweet, if we can get that up there. So the University of Pittsburgh Department of Athletics says, hey, we're playing Virginia Tech. We will get, you're playing a dangerous game, my friend.
It's not live.
Oh, it's not live.
It's only on you right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. Hey, back in the back room, they were about to bounce through their computer. It was on. It was a. Whoa. Oh man, that was about to be awesome.
Close your tab.
Turns out we were the only ones that could see it, which is a shame because I wish everybody could have. But Schefter comes out and says, in accordance to Section 3 of the law, that Pitt Athletics, I guess, maybe exception is Section 3 of the order does apply to players on the field, so players will not be required to wear face coverings while in the game. So he didn't say that for just professional athletes. He said that for all players, that because Section 3 of this new protocol that Tom Wolf, governor of Pennsylvania, has put in, it exemption to the players on the field don't have to wear the mask. But University of Pittsburgh Athletics is like, well, I'll tell you what, we haven't read Schefter's tweet, but we're telling you what we're thinking is going to happen is this. What a complete clusterfuck this thing. How far into this thing are we? 6 months, 7 months into this thing?
Yeah, I believe
we
so.
have no idea. We don't even know what we allegedly think we know about protocols about shit that we don't even know.
10 months.
It's been 10 months. This is insane.
Big Ben sat next to a guy on an airplane who had COVID and he didn't get it.
But he did go teach pre-K, and we don't know if that is potentially something that solves COVID-19.
Oh.
Grubby little pre-K schoolers' hands.
Ben Roethlisberger's kids?
Come on.
Tony.
Takes all of us.
Ben Jr.?
Ben Jr.?
Dude, Ben Todd Jr.?
What's going on in Pennsylvania? Nobody knows. It's COVID. It's 2020. The only thing we do know, Tony Fauci canceled Christmas, and you can buy.
Buy them now.
Let's go to the phones, man. 20% off store.patmcafeeshow.com. Let's talk to Kari in Minnesota. What's going on, Kari?
That would be Carrie. Hopefully Mitt spelled it right.
Okay, so now we have to talk to Mitt. So, Carey, right? C-A-R-E-Y. You go, Carey.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that's Carey.
For sure.
Mitt put this in here as C-A-R-E-Y. In what happened earlier with Jai and Jay, I thought there was a chance that Mitt was looking out for me like, hey, just a heads up. Although Carey is spelled the exact way I'm spelling it right now, I'm going to put a dash between the car and the
Carey
E.
without the E. It's C-A-R-Y.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about that, Carey. What we're talking about is a setup here by Mitt with the Mitt. What was that there? Because if you wanted to do the phonetic spelling,
right?
C-A-R-E-E-Y. What happened there, Mitt? I knew you were trying to look out for me somehow here, but how did you think that was the way to go about it?
I did ask him how he spells his name, and then I also was trying to look out for you, but I don't have the biggest brain.
He has no idea what
air between your ears, dude.
His phonetics aren't great.
Yeah.
Mitt, hey, keep swinging the bat back there, kid.
Volume shooter.
Keep swinging volume shooter.
Good jersey.
Stay hot, Mitt.
All right, Carey, what do you want to talk about, bub? I mean, that was setting me up for failure.
That was brutal. Before, and Boston Connor got it right somehow. So I don't know who you're putting back there.
What's Mitt?
It's Mitt.
I think that was a shot at
we were just talking. Yeah, just talking about Mitt.
Yeah, Carey, what do you want to talk about, bub?
Anyways, so I did a little bit of digging, and I found that you played Thanksgiving 2016. You got any stories for that?
Oh, thank you. Great question, Carey. Yeah, the highest quarterback rating in the history of Thanksgiving football games. No big deal.
You do?
Yeah. Rolled out to the right, threw a dime. Eric Swope almost scored a touchdown. Antonio Brown tackled him. It's a shame. We scored a touchdown then, 7 points right there because of the fake or whatever. We didn't score again. Yeah, lost by like 21 or something like that. Then I got fined the Monday afterwards.
Is that right?
Yeah. Let's go to Chris in Maine. It was. I'm thankful for it.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Thankful for it. It was against the Steelers. Which is awesome. Hometown team. Turkey Bowl, obviously. Those things are big in Pittsburgh. A lot of people play Turkey Bowls. I would assume it happens everywhere. But, biggest Turkey Bowl that you could have playing against your hometown team. You run a fake, throw your first NFL completion, because there was one before that. But a great play was made instead. So it was an awesome moment. We score. Do a little bit of a big nut walk, billionaire walk, a little billionaire strut. Not the best, but I was pretty jacked up at the moment. And then Tomlin mocked me. And Darius Hayward-Bay mocked me, It was a cool night, cool day. We didn't score again. We lost by a lot. So I punted, I passed, and I kicked, and it did not matter. Yeah, we lost by a lot.
Did everything you could.
Still pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Very cool. The highlight still gets played, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
But there's a couple people that always inevitably say whenever the highlights shown, we were down 14-0 and I'm doing the strut or whatever. 14-0, a lot of time left in the second quarter. What do you think this is? You think the game's over, pal? A swing of momentum deserves a little bit of energy and a little bit of celebration. Act like you've been there before. I haven't. I'm going to act exactly how I've never been there before. This is what you're going to see. So that's just for the future whenever you see somebody comment that underneath the video whenever it's inevitably played. I'm giving you guys the ammo to say what to say to the person.
It's a momentum strut.
Hey, yeah, you're damn right it was. Tomlin looking at me, though, after it was awesome. We scored a touchdown there. I think they were already up 14-0, obviously, yeah. So we scored a touchdown there 2 plays later, 14-7. Kick the extra point, obviously. Vinny does. Jog to the side, get by T. I'm coming on to kick off, and I look over, and Tomlin's wearing, like his black sweats and his jacket or whatever. He's got his headset on, and he's just walking like this, staring at me down the thing, laughing. And I think DHB, or Darius Hayward-Bay, was doing it as well. And Ricardo Matthews, he used to be on our team. He was over there as well. They were all just like happy for me. It was wild. I was like, man, I wonder how often that happens where the other team is like, hey, good for you, man. Like, hey, we're fucking happy for you, dude. I'm like, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Probably because they knew they were going to beat the bag out of you guys.
Ben tended to throw for 400 to 500 yards every single time he played us. And it was not fun to just sit on the other side of that buzzsaw.
I just watched the video. Danny Smith in the background of you doing it is just dropping the most motherfucks of all time.
That's the special teams coordinator for the Steelers. He's a Pittsburgh guy. Every time he's in a city, he comes by this office and it's just story time with him. He chews no less than 25 pieces of gum at the same time.
I felt bad for the gum in his mouth right now.
He just chews it really loud. He is a spark plug, that guy. Every single warm up whenever we play against each other, he'd come over and we would just talk shit to each other for 5 minutes and then we'd walk away, and at the end it was a big hug. All right, I'll see you next time. All right. He's the man. He's a good guy. Chris, sorry we kind of cut you off there up in Maine. What do you want to talk about?
No, you're good guys. But hey, thanks for the 20% sale. Looking on forward to taking advantage of that later.
Big Sale Friday.
Thank you.
Big Sale Friday,
baby.
Appreciate you.
But 2 points. First one, I owe Boston Connor a huge apology for last week being a stooge and calling him Boston Rob. So my apologies to you.
That was awesome.
Actually played pretty well.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to know,
double down on you.
Am I the only one that thinks even if Ohio State runs the table, they don't deserve to make the playoffs?
Why?
They haven't played anybody.
Oh, I mean, you could probably say that against anybody, though, right? I mean, Clemson losing's wild. Okay, that was very wild. But for a long time in the ACC, there for a couple years, Clemson was just blowing everybody out of the water. And it's like, well, they haven't played anybody. You could say that about anybody. The thing about Ohio State is whenever you say they're not playing anybody and they play against one of the Power 5 conferences, then you have to give respect to their recruiting ability too, right? To basically dominate the entire conference that they're in, that every good player around the country goes to them instead of anybody else. Now, granted, they're playing an undefeated Indiana team. Okay? They need to watch out. But I do believe Indiana, I think they'll show up, right? I think they'll play.
Yeah, big time.
Their word of the year is relentless. They'll be relentless, everything like that. But to say they didn't play anybody, I think that is quite egregious, especially when they're in one of the Power 5 conferences. Now, granted, if they only play like 4 games because COVID comes running wild, then I think you have a gripe. But when it comes to if they play 7 games at this point because one's already been canceled and it's mostly their own conference, I think you can't say that. I just don't think you could say it, Chris. But I respect you just taking a shot at everybody else, but I don't think you could say that.
And if Wisconsin gets their 6 games in, which is a big if, they'll probably play each other on the Big Ten championship. And Wisco's a good football team.
Well, and think about Graham Mertz. He'll be fresh off of, a 48-day hiatus?
Yeah, that's right.
That's so dumb.
Ohio State, when was the last time, or have they ever had a quarterback who was going to be like one of the first 2 picks in the draft either? Like, they've had good quarterbacks, obviously great talent, but like Fields is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And if you think college football playoff watches Ohio State just run the table and have one of the top picks of the draft, and they go, nah, they're not going to be in there.
Exactly.
You're just not living in reality.
Let's bring BYU in instead.
Well, hey, Cincinnati. Listen, if Cincinnati gets in there over Ohio State, I'll be like, boy, look, you, way to go. But I don't think you should be, but I do like it. Now, if there's a spot open because the Clemson situation and because of other stuff, I think this is the year Cincinnati does this, because they're going to play like 10, 11 games by the end of this thing, right? They're going to have, there's teams that are 7-0, 8-0 at this point, 5-2, and there's some teams that have played 2 games. That's the insane thing. And Cincinnati has played a shit ton of games, and they kill everybody. So hopefully this is a year where a team like Cincinnati could get in there. And sucks for UCF. Like, you guys had that run where you should have potentially got in there, but now it's like, yo, this is Cincinnati's time as the independent. What's up, Gump?
Cincinnati -4.5 at UCF tomorrow, Pat.
Yeah, go ahead and hammer Cincinnati. This is. I'm not going to be on game day tomorrow, but if I was, that would be one of the games I would say hammer Cincinnati, because I would assume that Fickle is utilizing hey, this team has been to where you want to go. This team is the national champion of the Power 6. This team is the previous you guys, basically. Do you want to take over or not? And I would assume what Luke Fickle and those boys have been doing all year will continue this weekend. I would hammer Cincy this weekend.
This year, because this year's so weird, they should put just all the undefeated teams plus the 4 that would normally be in there. Like, you should
would
throw
think
Cincy in there, BYU, Marshall runs the table, throw them in.
You would think that you would add it to at least 6 teams, right? And then figure out how you go about doing it, or even 8 teams because of the massive amount of questions. But the College Football Playoff Committee has come out and said, like, nah, and even if one of the semifinal teams can't play, fuck them. We're just going to move on. Nobody else even gets in
Your
there.
boys at Coastal are undefeated. Liberty's undefeated.
Let them get in there, dude. Let them dance a little. Let them dance for us. No, for them.
Yeah.
For them.
Because they understood that it took all of them.
That's right.
And if you run the table, especially in this year where your biggest opponent is invisible and around every single day, and you still run the table, all your games are completed. And by the way, maybe you missed the game because somebody else's fuck up, but you can run the table and do the whole thing. You deserve a chance to at least go and get it, don't you? Just a little bit?
Let the boys dance.
I mean, the NCAA playoff basketball thing, it's all going to be in one area. They're just going to let them all in.
Yeah.
Just like, it's 2020. Give these boys a shot at going and getting what they've been working their ass off for. So if you want to let the Mormons in, let them in. Bearcats down in the state of Cincinnati, let them in. Marshall, Coastal, all of them. Let them in there if they go. Now, granted, if they get absolutely slaughtered, okay. Way to go.
Put that to bed.
But they were in.
But they were in. Yes. What if they win, by the way?
What if they win?
Would that be a paradigm shift in the way everybody views college football?
It would
Something to
be
think about.
electric to watch Trevor Lawrence and Clemson beat Coastal by 75 points, too.
Oh, well, that happened.
They're in each other's backyard.
Ohio State, right? Didn't Ohio State lose by 40 or something? No.
It was Oklahoma.
Oklahoma,
got beat
yeah.
by,
They lose by like 40 or something like that. It's you're gonna potentially get got when you get into that college football playoff. But why not? With the way this year's been, let them in.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Let's go to Pepe in Mexico. Pepe, what's going on, bub?
Hey, órale, cabrones. Happy Feel Good Big Sale Friday.
Yeah! Second language nailing that thing. What do you want to talk about, Pepe?
Hey, Patrick. Just a little bit of Carey forgot to mention on the 2016 game. you also love apple pie because you're an American. You mentioned that on the NBC primetime showcast.
Yeah, I do remember
so
That's a good
that
throwback.
was, and again,
Pepe,
also
great
you
work.
played with Scott Tolzien.
This guy, no.
Yeah. Hey, Pepe, Scott Tolzien, by the way, awesome human being. But Pepe, I appreciate you recalling that. There was a couple questions I was asked while sitting in front of a camera that I did not know was for NBC or for that Thanksgiving game. And they just started pitching out questions, and I was in one of those moods where I was just rolling, and the game was such a blowout that they just started popping those in there. I was like, "Thank you guys. I like pizza. I like that. I like carbs, and I also like apple pie." And I forget what else I said. I think I said I like pizza at the end of it.
Yeah.
Those fucking producers, though, whenever they were shooting it, they were not as thrilled and entertained as the audience was. Because whenever they asked me that question, I went on a run. It was just a completely dry room. The next question, I go on another run, completely dry room. I get up and leave. And I'm like, well, that went terribly. All right. And then all of a sudden, they use it. I'm like, hey, shout out to whoever put that in there. If it was a close game, they would have never used it. So
No, probably not.
So maybe
it worked out.
No, it didn't work out, okay? Because we lost the fucking game.
Lost the football game.
Yeah,
Have
that's
a little
true.
respect.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, but you know,
Pepe, what do you got going on, bub?
Wasn't your year.
Hey, one quick question. I know my amigo Ty Smith hates Mr. Unlimited. Have you heard a worse nickname than that one? Do you remember any worse nickname given by any player?
We had a kid named Shitstains. That's a bad nickname.
Oh boy,
That's a tough one to crack.
He'll never live that down.
Hey,
Shitstain, get over here.
Poor Shitstains, man. He middle of practice, you know, he was a tough guy too, but he was just so young, and you know, he was a walk on, and it was just like a, you know, there was a little bit of a thud. And there was a big sound and big, atta boy. And then, you know, at practice, we had yellow pants in West Virginia. So basically everything was seen. And old Shitstains was born right there on that particular day. And he embraced it. I mean, he embraced it.
Parents did too, I heard.
No, I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. But he was only on our team for one semester. But old Shitstains had a good run. Shitstains had a good time off the field.
Did that name carry over at any point?
Yeah. Shitstains did not pay attention to academics much. Yeah, but he had a good time at night. Shitstains was a good guy, actually.
Did you do anything cool, like take dumps on front lawns or something?
No. Shitstains just got hit one time. The butthole went a little bit loose. Yeah. And you can't do that whenever you can't go in there with a loaded gun. Whenever you're going into that type of drill. If it's goal line day, okay, you need to empty the pipes before you get onto the field because there's a chance that the plumber's coming out, you know what I mean? And the whole thing could burst.
You guys have like emergency porta potties on the field or no?
No, Shitstains had to walk all the way to the locker room. And that was when. Yeah, no, that was when the whole. Jeez. And by the way, I would like to say we did it very, very. On the field, there was nothing said. Yeah. Locker room afterward, there was a conversation, and he even kind of shit my pants. Yeah. Shitstains. Yeah. He was a good dude, too. Poor guy.
Where'd he go? Did he end up playing anywhere else? Or?
No. He dropped out of school. I assume he's probably running a club somewhere. He had a great time at night. Like he was legit good time. You can't. The name Shitstains can't stick on a guy if he's not a.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because then you're being rude to the guy. Yeah. This guy loved it. Like SS train. You know?
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
I'm the Shitstain.
Yeah. He started. Yeah.
Good for him.
But that's probably the worst nickname I've ever heard.
So his life actually may have changed for the better that day.
I think so. Yeah, he got much more popular on the team.
Yeah.
And then, thus on the team and in the
on campus,
nightlife too. Yeah.
Started taking upper deckers, doing the whole thing.
What's that? What'd you say? Oh, did you? Are we able to run it? Oh, here we go. I'll pause this then. Pepe, shout out to Pepe knowing this. Here is what I said about Thanksgiving, which is still true to this day. We'll go to a break immediately after that. Then Bob Spillane from the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Feel Good Friday, November 20th, 2020. We'll see you on the other side. What do you like about Thanksgiving, me? I like pumpkin pie. I like apple pie because I'm American. I like stuffing because I like carbs. I also like pizza. That has nothing to do with this, but I just want to let you know that. I like pumpkin pie. I like apple pie because I'm American. I like stuffing because I like carbs. I also like pizza. That has nothing to do with this, but I just want to let you know that. I like pumpkin pie. Jeez. I'll tell you what, back room back there. I mean, there's some innovative shit that pops off, but those small little details are tough to not kind of tie down whenever you got 10 seconds to figure something out, you know? But the room was completely dead whenever I delivered those lines there. And they edited it, by the way, because there's probably like 10 other ones in between. Turkey Bowl football, your mics are all on.
We are all.
We're back. Here we go.
All right, let's get to a break. Let's get to a break. Bob Spillane of the Pittsburgh Steelers on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. This is Remember the Titans. How's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. I do a lot of things. Today I am a professional analyst getting ready for the Thursday night football opener in beautiful Nippert Stadium with the Cincinnati Bearcats here at Higher Ground. This secluded world. Good squad, good place, excited for this morning practice. I'm obviously unbiased, but I'm pulling hard for Cincinnati to do well on Thursday night.
I like to say, only clipboard quarterback, man. NFL kicker. Let's see what you got. Come on.
This is great for the brand. This guy's an athlete. Athlete.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. They say kickers are athletes. We'll find out. Let's go.
Heads up.
Popping on a
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for hospitality. Have a great day. Let's go get
going in, I'ma close the case. I can't wait no more, man. I gotta blow today. I'ma blow today. I ain't hearing what they say. Need a blue face, I've been caring about a race. I've been trying to eat, I need more than just a taste. Now they trying to talk, oh no, they should know their place. Man, I'm ballin'. This ain't cap, baby, now I feel like calling. From the O, but I got the music poppin'. All the time, man, it started getting obnoxious. Now I gotta drive down, feeling nauseous. Gotta drive top down, then I hop out, I've been feeling hot now.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get the
Yeah, you got it.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you. This has been so cool to see. Whenever we were driving out here into the sticks, my boys and I from Indianapolis, we were told by Coach Fickle it was a 40-minute drive from where we live. Absolute lie, hour and a half out here. But as we were getting out here, we didn't know what we were going to show up to. And this is such a cool scene here. I remember whenever I was in college, we won a lot of games, beat Cincinnati a couple times. It was a great day. But I remember my boys, right? Like I still am in touch with them every single day, every single week. We had this moment where we went from boys to become men. And you guys were a really young team last year, but got to experience a lot of wins. Like now the expectation level are high. And I can't wait to talk you all up on Thursday night against UCLA. UCLA refused to respond to my tweet. So I am a Bearcat fan on that opening night, and I cannot wait to watch you guys dominate. And I think this is such a cool thing. Coach, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality. I got a bunch of swag from you guys, too. This has been a cool day. Enjoy this, though. This doesn't happen a lot. Even when you get into the NFL, it's not like college. It's not like your boys. It's not like this. It's a whole different world that you'll remember forever, and I was honored to be here to watch you today, and I can't wait to watch you guys go win the thing on Thursday. I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. There's a lot of confusion going on with this Pennsylvania mask mandate. Shefty says there's a Section 3. University of Pittsburgh says they got to wear masks on the field. Some local news says it as well. It's a wild time to be alive for sure. And it's a wild time to be this man. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who has made a name for himself because he hits like a dump truck. Ladies and gentlemen, from Western Michigan, linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Robert Spillane.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, do people call you Bob? Am I allowed to call you Bob?
Of course.
Okay.
Hey.
You've become a fan favorite in the room. Obviously, there's a couple Steelers fans in here, and whenever you had to step up your play after Devin Bush got injured, and you just started blowing people up with your face, you became a massive fan favorite in Pittsburgh. What has it been like to get a lot of playing time? What has it been like to kind of embrace this role that I've assumed that you've dreamed about your entire life? And what has it been like to be a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization?
You know, from the moment I walked into this organization, you could really feel these veteran leadership guys like Vince Williams, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, TJ Watt. So they brought me in from the second I got on here. And now that I'm a part of this defense, it feels like I've always been meant to do this. And I love going out there with my teammates and performing on Sundays.
You are a wild animal. Like what was it, Derrick Henry, right?
Oh yeah, he started in the first row.
Yeah, do you remember that night after that whole situation? But it seemed like you potentially got a 25-yard running start into Derrick Henry, and it was one of the biggest collisions of the year. And I think that was when all of Pittsburgh was like, "Oh, who is Bob Spokane? Let's go!" Do you remember that night?
Yeah,
and are you trying to bring the hammer every time? Are you trying to bring the hammer every single time?
Every time you can, every time you realize that you get a big player like that, you want to bring the hammer. And if you actually watch that play pre-snap, I'm about 3 yards at depth, and I realize, I might need a little more power hitting this big dude. So I take a few steps back right before the play, and it ended up paying off.
Yeah. Do you just do neck X? I'm looking at you, and those that are only listening on Sirius XM, you can't see. Yeah. Bob Spillane has one of the largest necks I've ever seen in my entire life. Bob, do you just do neck exercises all day, every day? Is that the move? So that's why you can back up a couple more yards and run face first into a 295-pound running back?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why we're doing neck pretty much every day. You got to get the shrugs, shoulder workouts to keep the shoulders strong. So every day, pretty much.
It feels like a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers are MAC players. Okay, there's a lot of MAC action, a lot of MACtion in that locker room. And Tomlin, in his last interview, decided to pull out an AK and just saw down the MAC. I don't know if you got a chance to hear that. How has the conversation gone? We heard Ben say as soon as he finds out where William and Mary is, he'll make fun of him as well. Has that conversation lingered behind closed doors between the MAC people talking shit to Tomlin after Tomlin sawed down the MAC just a few days ago?
A little bit here and there, but if you look at our roster, it's built up of more MAC players than anyone in the NFL. So they love their MAC guys here in Pittsburgh. And he was just saying it's a clean playing field in the NFL. Everyone's paid the same. Everyone is coached the same. So we just got to go out there and do our thing this weekend.
What's Tomlin like? I heard he's a shit talker every once in a while. I hear he's a motivator. I hear he's a super players coach. What has it been like to play? Because he's a defensive-minded guy and be one of his guys now on the defense that has been absolutely dominant this year from top to bottom.
Well, when you talk to Coach Tomlin, you realize that he's really a football genius. He looks at the field of all 11 players, and he puts himself in the situations that we are going to be in. So he understands matchups, personnel, and I just love playing for him because he's such a player's coach, and he understands the wants and needs of his players and gets it done. So I can't say enough good things about Coach Tomlin.
You guys are undefeated, and obviously you're a younger player. You haven't been around that long. What is the mood in there? Because I was on a team that was my rookie year. We went undefeated until we chose to lose in like our 15th game against the Jets. And I was so dumb. I was just like, yeah, this is normal. Like, we're just going to go undefeated every year. This is how it goes. Has there been any conversation about that? Or is it just like you can get got every single week? Because Gary Gilbert and the Dallas Cowboys, nobody thought they were going to be able to do it. What is the conversation about? There's a lot of pressure that comes with potentially being undefeated. Or is that something you guys just don't even think about or care about?
I think our focus is 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, one practice at a time. And that's from the top down, from Coach Tomlin and our owners and our top players, and they preach that on a daily basis. And we know that we're going to have to go out there every weekend and earn a victory. Nothing is going to be given in this league.
Mr. Night Train, would you rather have the moment where you had the pick six against Lamar Jackson? No, I get it. You scored a touchdown on that. That was awesome. Or the moment, the big hit against Derrick Henry on a goal line?
You know, I think that the hit on Derrick Henry is going to be my favorite play for a long time. That was like one of my welcomes into the NFL. So that play will always be special to me forever.
Did you separate your? Did you fuck up your shoulder on that because you went off with it kind of dangling and then you're just back in the next series like nothing happened?
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things on a big hit. You need a second to breathe.
What happened? I'm not sure. It hurts here. Can't really feel much here.
A little bit here. Everywhere.
How long have you been in Pittsburgh now? Is this your second year there, first year here?
This is my second year with Pittsburgh. Last year I was on practice squad for the first 8 weeks and then a special teams player for the latter half of the season.
What has it been like being one of the guys now, as opposed to like a special teams, or does the week change? Obviously, it has to with the amount of film study and everything like that, but who did you learn from while you were maybe on the practice squad or as a special teams guy? Like, what are you modeling your days like film study, workout here, rehab here, this? Because it's a much different game whenever you're playing every single week as opposed to practice squad where you got the weekends off, basically. What has it been like kind of transforming into a starting NFL linebacker?
Like you said, the film study intensifies, the focus, the detail intensifies. Just getting around guys like T.J. Watt and Vince Williams, you know, two of our top linebackers, and watching how they work since the moment I've been here has given me a strong foundation for how I want to be in my career, how I want to be as a pro. So just keep looking up to those guys, follow them around. Like, honestly, my first year I followed T.J. around and Vince around, like, in their back pocket trying to figure out what they did to be successful. So it's paid off so far.
What's it like with no fans? A lot of your own thoughts you're hearing in there before it's like, oh, come on, Bob. Come on, clear it out. And is it just you and your thoughts out there? Is that what it feels like?
Yeah, but I have a lot of pre-snap communication going on, so it's nice to be able to talk with those guys to kind of ease your nerves. And we have a lot of great communicators on our defense. So once that ball snapped, I know exactly where I need to be and who I need to be playing off of. So,
Bob, what do you do off the field?
I've been hanging low, especially for this coronavirus. I'm a big family guy. I love my family. My dad's one of 11 and my mom's one of 8, so I have 50 first cousins back home in Chicago. I love them. And, you know, they've been a big part of my life. My girlfriend, Erin, she's also a big part of my life, so.
Hey, good for you, man. Hey, Bob. Yeah, good guy. Talking about the coronavirus, how you basically just have to go home, go to work, go home, go to work, don't talk to anybody, don't even look at people. Now, with the state's new protocol, I don't even know if you've had a chance to hear from anybody on the team or whatnot. There's a chance that you potentially have to wear a mask on the field. Is this something that you guys have heard about, or have you ever practiced or tried? Like, has there ever been a time where they're like, hey, we might get to a point where we have to wear a mask on the field, or maybe even the full face shield basically on your helmet? Have you thought about that, or is that just something if it happens?
No, there's new protocols coming out all the time with the COVID stuff, and whenever we get that protocol, you know, we'll do a good job abiding by it. So, you know, the Steelers do a great job of keeping us safe here, and we'll just keep listening to the protocols that come out.
They're changing every day, Bob. They're changing every day.
Every day. Coach Tomlin calls it necessary business. So that's what it is.
He's the best, dude. I love.
He is the best.
Yeah, whenever he starts talking, I enjoy it so much. It's because it's either something deeply profound, absolute bullshit, it's just going in a complete circle, or he's shit talking somebody. It feels like that is the thing. And you calling him a football genius was really cool to hear, by the way, because there has to be a reason why for 14 years you've never had a losing season as a head coach or whatever. There has to be some sort of something that never gets talked about. Nick, what do you got, Bob?
Bob, you had the big play against Lamar and the Ravens, obviously the pick six. A couple weeks later, he comes out and says that basically insinuates that they're too predictable on offense. Was that something you guys keyed upon? Like, are you able to just read that offense as a defense and just know what they're going to run before they're running it?
Or any offenses, by the way. Is that your thing? Are you like I know what you're going to do before you do it type of player?
Yeah, of course you want to study and have good tendencies on formation structure and what they do out of those plays. But at the same time, you can't go out there guessing. At the end of the day, you read your keys and react to them. That's what defensive players do. And I feel like the more you know, the faster you can react. So just combining those two together is how we play on defense.
I think TJ told us the other day whenever he was on here that he'll listen to the TV copy and he'll close his eyes and he'll just do the sound of the TV copy, whether it's the quarterback's cadence or timing or potentially offensive linemen talking to each other or anything like that. And we talked to Aaron Rodgers the other day. He was talking about how there's a lot of self-scout right now because everything's being heard, audibles and everything like. Is that something you're obviously listening to, keyed in upon, especially this year with less and less crowds in the stands?
Yeah, of course. You're getting a lot more verbal cues from the offenses, and TJ is the leader of our defense when it comes to listening to that cadence, and he does it every Friday before our meeting. So just getting in there with him and realizing how he really just studies voice inflection and all that has provided some understanding to what I need to learn. And sometimes you can hear little calls the offensive linemen make and pick up on that throughout the game. So that's what we've been able to do.
Big brain Bob Spillane. We can't thank you enough, brother. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you for having me on.
Hey, keep doing that neck, pal. We want to keep seeing the dump truck out there. Ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Robert Spillane. Bob. His neck, for those that are listening on SiriusXM, is massive. I mean, it is a massive, and it makes sense. I like the thought of him standing there like 3 yards off the line or whatever because it was a goal line type package or whatever, and then him kind of getting a good feeling. Oh, they're going to give it to that big son of a bitch, aren't they? Okay, let me go ahead. A couple more yards, and then full speed. That was a collision. Yeah. That was an absolute collision. Everybody knows what we're talking about. That's how big it was. The cadence thing and the voice inflection, that's awesome because, there's a couple traits. Rest in peace to Alex Trebek, by the way, absolute living legend. RIP. But I could tell by the pause in his voice when a clue was asked for if it was a daily double or not. Like as soon as the thing was called, the way Trebek paused and then said something, I'm like, oh, guy got a daily double, and then Trebek immediately daily double or whatever. You know what I mean? The thought of listening to the quarterback do his thing is incredible. Like. Because there's probably some quarterback tendencies that they don't even know whenever they go like, red 18, set, and it's a fake dummy call. And then whenever they get into a different, and it's just like maybe one octave lower or like the timing's just a little, that's probably a massive advantage, especially whenever you can hear everything that's happening without the crowds. I would assume some of those very smart, and the amount of time that takes to probably study that is probably a lot as well. I assume there's a lot of defense, and that's probably why some defenses are really eating right now.
Do you think that's that common of a trait, though? I feel like that's like a real skill, being able to
dissect that?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Especially so every single week.
I think so, too, especially whenever you have to also be a very high-level physically gifted guy. Mm-hmm. You have to be combative. You have to have a competitive edge, but also have the ability to read inflections and voices. That's a private detective being able to do it. How about TJ Watt on Fridays before games going like, all right, play it. You hear that? That's a bullshit call. All right, play it back. Bob, what is it? Good call. No, Bob. God damn it, Bob. Bob, I'll say it, all right? He's going. TJ on the sideline every time. Let's go to Steven in Alberta, Canada. What's going on, Steven?
Alberta.
How's it going? Hey, where's Alberta at? Is that up there by?
I think it's like 147 kilometers due west of Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
It is due west of Saskatoon. You're right.
Holy shit!
I knew.
I mean, he's on it now.
He is.
Better come, that's for sure.
I mean,
what's all
you just pulled that so far out of your ass right there. And Steven's like, yeah, actually.
Well, I did remember, due west.
Yeah, absolutely. Steven, what do you want to talk about up there, pal?
Well, first of all, happy feel-good fleeting Friday. I don't know if you guys...
Oh, yeah. No. My fleet's disappeared.
What?
My fleet's disappeared. I think fleets are potentially dead, and I am not happy about it. I saw a lot of people dancing on fleets' graves earlier today. I just want to let you know. I'm in there, in the lab, doing as much CPR as possible on those goddamn things. They disappeared from my Twitter account. I'm not happy about it.
No.
Jesus. Steven.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Steven, you brought that up.
Damn it.
Well, let's cheer you up with, first of all, asking Connor, did you let the guy in the back know for Robert Mathis that he was looking for him?
Oh yeah, I actually did right after the show. Yeah, let him know.
That's good.
It's very nice.
Very nice of you.
Very nice of you.
And then with you, Pat, are there any players in the NFL like Robert who you joke with and you'd have a fun time with on the field, but they wouldn't give you an inch? They wouldn't smile, they wouldn't laugh, and they just intimidated you.
No. The other teams normally liked me, right? Because if I'm coming on the field, that means something good happened. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing. I think there's a couple people that I haven't been able to crack ever in my life. Reggie Wayne and I told you, we did not have a lot of interactions as teammates. He was incredible leader on our team, incredible. Not a lot of interactions between us. We did see each other at the draft, had a great interaction, good conversation there. Quentin Nelson, remember I interviewed him?
Oh, yeah.
I got nothing out of him. That the guy wanted to fight me. I was like, all right, well, sorry. I'm gonna let you know you're a really good player. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. That's probably the only people in the history that I haven't been able to. Because the thing is, I'm very consistent, which I think a lot of the old whites always think that this is just McAfee, get a new stick, damn it! Yeah, and I wish I could, but I'm literally like this all the time. So it doesn't matter, I've been like this forever. It doesn't matter who you are or whatever. I'm coming in at the same exact energy there every single time.
Who was your locker neighbor who said, like, are you like this every day?
Jaquel Jackson, yeah. Jaquel Jackson, middle linebacker there, old school guy. There's a guy that could potentially be somebody that people would think would hate me. But instead, he's right next to me. Day one, he did. Yeah, day one. Day two, he potentially did as well. Day three, he finally said, is this every day? I'm like, oh, yeah. This is every day. Oh, yeah. And I think people respect consistency, So that is, at all levels, people do that. So there hasn't been many people that I haven't been able to. Now, I'm sure there are, but there hasn't been a lot of batters boxes that I've walked into that I've just been completely like, you get the fuck out of here. All right, I will see you later.
Other teams too? There weren't any?
Yeah, I didn't. It got weird when people started coming up to me after games. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things. That was kind of weird. Before games, I'd like, if somebody came over and ran in front of us in warm-ups or a catch or something, and they'd see us, and I was always with Vinatieri. So Vinatieri, I was kind of riding the coattails of everybody kind of respecting Vinatieri, and then I think they knew a little bit about me or whatever, so I'd go like, hey, and there'd be like, or like, hey, take it fucking easy today, or whatever. Like, whatever I would say, like, there would always be a little bit of a pop, a little bit of a positive interaction. Delaney Walker, the tight end for the Titans. So he and the Colts got into a fight every single year. Somebody from the Colts and him got into a fight almost every year, it felt like. And after games, he and I have never talked to each other or anything like that, but I'd be walking, there would always be a fist bump between me and Delaney Walker. And it like got caught on camera one time. And they're like, how do you know Delaney Walker? I'm like, I have no idea. Good guy, man. Good guy. He's nice. Great fucking football player. Yeah. And by the way, the fact that there was always a fight, like, I think our locker room, like, respected him, too. Like, hey, this guy is going to be, like, there's a guy there, But for whatever reason, it was always, like, a dap-up or whatever. I'm like, hey, good guy. Cortland Finnegan and I've never ran into him off the field, but for some reason, before every game, we always talk to each other. There's a lot of people that just used to walk up to me and we talk to. Who's the former head coach of the Jags now, defense coordinator?
Jack Del Rio.
Chargers. What's his name?
Cool. Tom Bradley?
Gus
Bradley. Gus. Before every game, we had conversations, just walk over. What's up, Gus? How's it going, man? Hey, Pat, how's it going? Good, dude. Thanks for asking, man. Have a good one. All right, see you later. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I going? I have no idea why that guy's talking to me, but it's like everybody was always very nice to me, it felt like. It was very cool and very unexpected every single time.
I do remember you mentioning Edelman being tough to crack.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't crack Edelman the first time. I got him since, but the first time Edelman would not move. It was, he was the underappreciated, overlooked white guy that was in the league that was dominating. And I would always try to talk to the punt returners, and I would tell them every single game, hey, if we get in the open field, don't run me over, okay? And they would always quick laugh or whatever, and they're like, no, that's you or whatever. I'm like, no, listen, just juke the shit out of me, okay? Just don't run me over or whatever. That'd be great for both of us. And by the way, fair catches aren't bad here. Fair catch is a win for both of us. Get the fuck out of here, McAfee. It was always like a laugh or whatever, and then move on. And normally, by the way, I do think that seed being dropped into not to run me over, it worked because every time they thought they were going to be able to outrun me to the sideline, it was an old bait and tackle. Like you can get to the sideline, I cut it off, here we go. And then Antonio Brown, he didn't run me over, thank God, but he did juke the shit out of me, which is exactly what I told him to do. Just juke the shit out of me, and he was like, you got it, man, wham, and I'm down or whatever. But Julian Edelman, nothing. He was standing right next to me catching punts because you punt the opposite direction normally. I'm like, hey, man, I had no idea you existed. You're pretty fucking good, huh? And he was nothing. I'm like, oh, no, okay, so this is going to be a little bit tough here or whatever. And he caught like 1, 2, and then he was catching like the third one or whatever. And he catches the third one. I go, I got no fuck. I'm only punting one ball tonight. Nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. I'm like, oh, then he like jogged away or whatever. And I'm like, oh, God. If that guy gets in the open field, he's going to try to fucking kill me.
He's going to run me over.
And by the way, he took one to the house that night.
Bummer.
I'd tackle him next time, though. Fireman carry.
Ooh.
Yeah, he jumped into it, though. And that like kind of fell.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't really that athletic.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that athletic.
Did it, though.
Still did it. But that would have been his second touchdown of the night. See, that's what happens when they don't talk to me. You know what I mean? They don't talk to me. They get 2 tutters, basically. Yeah, but pretty much everybody likes when the punter's on the field. So I didn't have many problems. Who else? Pac-Man and I, obviously, because of our West Virginia ties, always had a great relationship before the game. Josh Cribbs and I had a good, pretty much everybody we had a good relationship with. Quentin Nelson, though, he was not a fan. You remember how uncomfortable that was?
Oh, yeah.
How many people did we interview? We interviewed like 3 people that day.
Yeah, Jacoby, I think, was one of them as well.
Awesome. Darius Leonard, I think, stopped by that day.
And even at the draft, the Reggie Wayne thing was hilarious because you had talked about that situation on the podcast, so he was getting a lot of tweets, right?
Yeah.
So right when he saw you, he had a massive smile on his face.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was very funny.
He's like, man, why you gotta tell everybody we didn't talk? Like we didn't. It was just, it's true. I've always been a big fan. We never really talked. He was like, let's take a photo. He's a good guy. Yeah. I've been following him in his retirement. It's awesome to see him. He's great at the football, but I think he potentially hated me there early and just kind of was like, well, fuck that guy. I'm going to stay away from him. Which, by the way, does happen. That does happen whenever you're like me, or I would assume Connor has that feeling as well towards people. Yeah. Happens to me too.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sorry.
Hey, man, I get it. But just know, when you come back around, same guy's going to be there. Same guy's going to be there.
Breaking news, fleets are back. I just checked on Twitter right now.
Let's
They're
go.
all back up there.
Oh, thank
I know you were worried, so I want to make sure you knew about it.
Thank the fleet gods.
Yeah. We got fleets, though.
Oh, thank God, dude. I was worried. All right, let's do one more phone call here before hour 2 ends, and I got to read this thing here, obviously, before. And then let's go to Zach in Pennsylvania. Zach, what's going on? Are you with the government? What do they got to do? Wear masks or not wear masks?
Zach Brown?
Dude,
do you say random famous
your guess is as good as mine. I just do what I'm told.
Pennsylvania? What the
He's doing a tour there right now.
Oh, people are touring right now?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
crazy.
go. They're back.
Sold out Hans Field.
I would assume Pennsylvania.
He's going to wear a mask, though.
Pennsylvania is one of those places like New York and California right now that tours are completely opposite. They would have to sing with a mask on.
They're not doing those.
Yeah, it would be tough.
Is that you, Zach Brown?
It's not Zach Brown. So, what do you want to talk about, Zach?
Hey, so I am actually a huge Chiefs fan. I've only been in PA for a couple of years, so I was born and raised in Kansas City. My question was, and I guess AJ can attest to this, about their defense. They have pretty much, they're the epitome of a bend but don't break defense. You can run and pass all over them, but the second you get into the red zone, they're not letting you in. So I was wondering what your thoughts are. Is it like is it a mentality thing? Is it like a coach?
No, yeah. Sometimes teams don't have what it takes to be able to stop and play a full 100 yards, so they actually do play the bend but don't break style defense because they know whenever it gets tight, they're going to keep you to 3 points as opposed to 6 or 7. The Patriots are playing that way right now. If you're a punter for a team that plays like that, it is fucking miserable because you pin them deep and it does not matter. Even a defense coordinator will look at you and say, you can just take that snap and take a knee. It'll actually expedite things faster because we're just waiting until it gets a little bit closer here. The bend but don't break can be a little bit of a nuisance, I would assume, for fans to watch, because it's like, how come you could do this but you can't do that? Their scheme, their personnel literally might only be effective whenever there isn't as much space, because they might not have enough speed to be able to keep up with everybody in the open field. So they keep everybody in front of them, let them gain yards, and then whenever it gets tight, we are going to crash down.
Amen.
So it's a little bit of a frustrating thing, but I assume AJ's potentially going to give the same answer there. But I've asked that question a lot because I was a part of some bend but don't break defenses. And you pin them at the 5, and all of a sudden their fucking team's already on the other 40. And it's like, why did I even punt? What are we even doing here? I pin them, you get them, but you're choosing not to get them until they're already 85 yards down the field.
Son of a bitch.
Can we figure this out as a team? Hour 2 is wrapping up here. In Hour 3, we got Field Yates and AJ Hawk. It's the Pat McAfee Show. Big sale Friday, 20% off everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com. You got 6 minutes to take a shit. We are moments before going out onto the field and kicking some field goals to raise a crap ton of money for the kids. And I'm about to become an old man. Said I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Oh, Cuzzy. Oh my God. You want a little bit of that grandpa? Hey, you see, you go, and then I'm just so excited we can raise some money because that's what we're here for. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. It is hard to see down. Cool, Grandpa. There's no way I lived this long in real life.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our contestant and cheer him on as he attempts to raise $70,000 for cancer research. On your mark, get set, go!
I've been a fan of the Colts since the Mayflower came from Baltimore.
I don't know, sir. You sound a little familiar.
This is the greatest city on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, it was my honor to raise $70,000 for cancer research. Sorry, I missed a couple. I'm an old man. Let's go. Let's
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pat McAfee and $70,000 towards cancer research. Go Colts!
And the ball's leaning back. Couldn't see. It's a lot more difficult seeing. Hi! Old man's got a hammer. And I'm going to go with the under as well, 57.5. I'm going to go under 57.5. I think it's calling for rain a little bit.
Yeah, a little rain.
Yeah, 40 degrees, little rain. I think defenses maybe show up a little bit more than they have in the past. And for whatever reason, it feels like everybody thinks that the over is going to hit. Even Lombardi alluded to it about being a shootout. Mm. So for that reason alone, like I'm just betting the under just because it feels like that is how the over-under normally goes.
Hey, I'll go to the fucking loony bin with you, Paul.
We going under?
I'll go to the under with you.
Tony Under's tilting the kilt on this thing.
Cardinals have been an under team this year too. They're 4-0 to the under their last 4 road games.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 3 of the Pat McAfee Show begins right now.
Holy shit.
The thing
that's massive.
That's a massive pull.
That is a massive pull.
Is a finger, okay? And I tell her this is 2 inches. The show today is a dumb one. It is Big Sale Friday, obviously.
Hell yeah.
20% off the entire store at store.patmcafeeshow.com. You can buy anything on there at a 20% off rate. It's our way of saying thank you for all the support this year through a wild 2020. Also, if you make a purchase at the store, starting 48 hours ago, all the way through the end of Big Sale Friday sale, you automatically be entered into potentially winning a PS5.
Whoa! Wow!
We're not giving away one.
No.
Okay? No.
No.
We could give away one. Okay? And it'd be like, that's very nice of you to give away one PS5. Okay? We're not giving away one. We're giving away 3.
Whoa!
Not 1. Not 2.
Nope.
3
Wow.
PS5s. Just a way to say thank you, 20% off, and thank you for supporting us whenever we're saying thank you. So you automatically are enrolled to potentially win one of, not one.
Not one. No.
Not one.
Okay, could do one, but I'm not doing one.
No.
Because when you find one PS5, you ask that person, hey, how many PS5s you got over there? And they say, we got 3. We go, we'll take them all. Okay, we will take them all.
Uh-huh.
So we got 3 of them.
3.
Wow, it's crazy. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. It's the dumbest one of all time. Joining us now is a college football champion and a Super Bowl champion and AJ Hawk, and a man who is an ESPN insider and a fantasy football expert. I think every single Sunday I see his ass on TV. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who went to a high school that they served milk and cookies every single day, legendary individual, Field Yates.
Yeah!
I got to tell you guys, your introductions are better than any other introductions for any show that I appear on. And by the way, McAfee, I hear you got to have some clout to get your hands on one of those PS5s. You got your hands on 3. That's major clout right there.
Just takes money. We found we found somebody on the internet who had a couple, and we said, you know what? We'll take 3 of them, pal. And it's the nicest, it's the most we could do, or the least we could do, the least, not the most, the least we could do to people that are currently, shopping at store.patmcafeeshow.com right now for 20% off everything. AJ, good to see you, by the way. I haven't got a chance to see you since you come live. Field, let's talk about it. A lot of injuries this weekend. There's a COVID case for the Cleveland-Philly game that's big, and there's a potential mask protocol that could be hilarious to watch unfold that Schefter tweeted about, but nobody else has tweeted about. What do you want to start with? What do you have the most information on? And let's get right into it.
Well, I think the mask protocol that you mentioned is, specifically in the state of Pennsylvania, there's obviously a widespread mask ordinance right now. So you need to be wearing a mask if you are outside in the state of Pennsylvania, with a few exceptions. And as of right now, one of those exceptions is given to professional football teams. Now, neither the Eagles nor the Steelers play at home this weekend. It probably would be a bigger story if one of them was going to have a home game this weekend, but I think by the time they're both back at their respective home stadiums, that they will be okay to not be wearing masks. So that story is sort of hypothetically interesting, but I think by the time they're playing home games, players will be without masks underneath their helmets. And then you mentioned it, like Myles Garrett, this is not just any player getting COVID. Not that any player getting COVID is not important, but he's if not the front runner, he's in the top 2 for Defensive Player of the Year right now in the NFL. He has been a one-man wrecking crew for that Cleveland Browns defense. So to not have him against an Eagles offense that finally is getting healthy is a significant portion or significant sort of factor in this game on Sunday. I'm not sure it tilts the game in Philly's favor, but it certainly gives a little bit more hope and life against the Browns team that's been pretty solid so far this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, first off, Field, I apologize for Pat being disrespectful and having him cut the camera and come back to him, and all the serious listeners don't see whatever he's doing. Your shaft is broken on your big finger too, by the
way. I've had to put it together. Don't you worry about me. Just ask your fucking question, okay? Please, let's get to it.
Well, yeah, Field, don't mind him. But so when you're looking at the NFL right now and you see what's going on, it's college football. I know it's had a lot of stuff canceled. I guess how optimistic are you that we're going to get all the games in? We're going to have a full playoffs. Like, what do the playoffs look like, and what does the Super Bowl look like, actually?
Yeah, I think the NFL is probably in pretty good shape. And by the way, if I could, so the first time I did the McAfee show, the two of us just sort of, I just nerded out for a little bit because not that I didn't love Pat in the NFL, but I also love Pat in some of his WWE.
Yeah. Field's a guy. Field's a good guy.
They're very impressive. But my mom is from Columbus, Ohio. My team growing up, probably still to this day, the Ohio State Buckeyes. This is a big moment being on with AJ right now, all right? So an absolute legend as a Buckeye. Not that I need to explain that to this audience, but for those of us that have spent a lot of time in the great city of Columbus, this is a cool moment for me. So I guess I now have to answer the question and be professional again. I think the NFL is in good shape, AJ. I think the NFL, for the most part, is nice. They are trending in the right direction. There's going to be some cases and there's going to be some situations like the Raiders are dealing with right now with a bunch of defensive players not being able to practice during the week. But the NFL feels as though right now they are able to, as best as they possibly can, mitigate spread inside the facility, and also they have not seen any spread amongst players on the field. On-field transmission has not been an issue for the NFL so far. That's not to say that the NFL is out of the woods, but they feel pretty good about the possibility of a 17-week season being fit into 17 weeks. And once we get to the playoffs, obviously things get much, much easier. We're talking about 14, at maximum 16 teams. Right away, half the league is onto their offseason, at which point you're dealing with half the constituency and obviously a lot less hurdles to execute every game on Saturdays and Sundays in the playoffs.
So about this Corona thing, and I think you hit on it there a little bit earlier, but I was messing with my 6-foot finger pointer thing that I have here, so I might not have caught it all. Speaking of Corona, I mean, it's changing everything. They're going back to the intense protocols, obviously, and there's the mask force, and guys aren't even in there. This Section 3 thing in Pennsylvania is very interesting. So you said the professional, and what about the college kids? Like, for instance, University of Pittsburgh, I think they and Virginia Tech, they're preparing to wear masks on the field. At what point do you think, now granted, this would be diving into the politics of it, but at what point do you think they go, the NFL guys have to do it, the college guys have to do it, and eventually change that? And will the NFL let them say, like the Section 3 thing that Schefter referenced, will the NFL tell them, like, we're not going to do that?
Yeah, my guess is that the NFL will be able to get the required waiver, whatever it is it's necessary to not wear masks. I think it's interesting. I think the problem with having a college football game where players are wearing masks underneath their football helmets is that I think people are going to have a hard time watching a full contact sport where guys are engaging each other every single play, right? So like an offensive and defensive lineman can smash each other's heads for 65 plays a game, but they can't do so without a mask.
Field, don't start asking questions that make sense, dude. Okay, we can't have
slippery slope.
Can't have you doing that right now, Field. Let's talk about Taysom Hill starting down there for New Orleans. I believe Schefter legitimized the story. You and Schefter legitimized the story this morning because a lot of people thought that Sean Payton was potentially trolling people by saying that they were going to start Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston. How'd that conversation come to be? It seems to make sense because if you think Taysom Hill's a Steve Young and the quarterback of your future, now you get a chance to kind of see him lead the team for a few weeks here. Could have done it last year, went with Teddy instead. Now they're doing it with Taysom. Why do you think this year they went with Taysom instead of Jameis, where last year they go with Teddy instead of Taysom?
So there's a little bit of risk involved when you say always simply follow the money. But as both of you guys know, that often does prevail in the NFL. And I'm not saying that the Saints are starting Taysom Hill because of the contract they gave him this past offseason, but the contract they gave him this past offseason does remind me that the Saints like Taysom Hill much more than the internet likes Taysom Hill. When Taysom Hill enters the game and has a 4-yard run or throws one pass that whether it's completed or not, the internet just goes nuts. Hey, why would you ever take Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer, major statistical category leader, and basically every passing stat leader off the field? Well, the Saints have long believed in Taysom Hill. They've worked hard to develop him, obviously, and Taysom Hill has clear strengths as a runner. The dude is a freight train. He's been great on special teams for them. He's been an occasional receiver for them. But we haven't seen them do those. We have never seen them turn to him as a full-time quarterback. But whether it's understanding of the system, because he's been there for a lot longer than Jameis, whether it's just overall upside relative to Jameis, whether it's as simple as this week during practice, Taysom Hill not only got almost all the reps, but just looked better in those reps. All of those, I think, contribute to why he is expected to start on Sunday. And I think he's a more challenging quarterback for defenses to prepare for. Now, it doesn't mean that he is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston, but if you think about what a defense is going to have to account for on Sunday with Taysom Hill, it's not just obviously the throwing, but the Saints are going to have 50 different wrinkles for him as a runner, which any defensive coordinator is going to spend a chunk of his practice preparation on this week. So I'm sure that the Falcons are glad to have some sense of who is starting on Sunday, or have a full sense of who's starting on Sunday. But still, in some ways, it might actually be easier to prepare for Jameis than it is to prepare for Taysom Hill. They've seen Jameis a bunch over the past 5 years.
Field, Alvin Kamara was out of practice yesterday. Will Taysom have Alvin Kamara on Sunday?
Yeah, not worried about Alvin Kamara. I think at this point of the season, a lot of teams, even with players who are young, and it's not like Alvin Kamara is a 32-year-old running back. The guy's been in the league for 3 seasons. This is halfway through year 4 for Alvin Kamara. They're just going to basically load manage these players. Alvin's been so important to that offense that at some point, there's diminishing returns between practice 90 and practice 91 of the season, as opposed to the difference between the 5th and the 6th practice of the season when you're still in pads during training camp. So
Not me and AJ. Me and AJ went to work every single day. Get better, Phil.
Oh, yeah. I know. Well, you guys, that's why you guys are legends. That's why you have a burgeoning, not even burgeoning, you just have an established star show here that millions of people are watching each week.
And also potentially why I have to, I had to retire early too. Probably should have took some days off. Probably in hindsight, probably the right move to be made. Ty.
Field, so is that a similar situation with Devontae Adams? He didn't practice yesterday, but now there are video showing that he practiced today. Do you think he'll go this weekend against the Colts?
Yeah. I expect Devontae to go as well against the Colts, which, by the way, him not being available would have been one of the stories of the weekend, not just because he's Devontae Adams, but you guys know this in Indy. The Colts defense has been unbelievable this year. They've been one of the best pass defenses by basically any category you take, and it's not like it's a bunch of household names in the secondary. They've just been rock solid top to bottom. They've got good depth. They've got good young players. They've had players like Xavier Rhodes, who's made a much, much bigger difference this year for them than he did during his final seasons in Minnesota. And then the front seven is just stacked with talent. I know Darius Leonard, their linebacker, was a little bit miffed to not be held in the same regard as Fred Warner by, of course, friend of the show, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you guys can follow up with Aaron about that.
Hey, you got the lingo down, friend of the show, too. Mm-hmm. Connor, what do you got?
Vanderfield, we know that you know, so can you please just tell us how many punches were thrown between Joe Judge and Big O Colombo up there in New York?
How about that? So obviously the Giants have made it very clear this did not happen, at least in their estimation. But if something like that ever did happen between Mark Colombo and anybody, now it may come as a surprise to you guys that I've never been in a fight in my life.
Vanderfield, you hate stuff. Put my cookie down.
Never. I know, guys. I know. I didn't want. I thought about not saying that. I didn't want to break the internet, but the comment section I'm sure will be on fire right now. But I can't imagine lasting more than one punch from Colombo. The guy's 6'8", 320 pounds. The dude was in a heavy metal rock band during his playing career. No one messed with Mark Colombo back then No one messes with him now.
Hey, when you think of the Giants, think Jason Garrett's their offensive coordinator. Now, how right now, I know it's a little maybe off subject, but how do people feel about Jason Garrett and the job he's doing as the OC? Do they think he's improving now and that there's hope?
But by the way, I actually think that the fact that Jason Garrett is the OC is kind of like one of the underrated parts of this story, because Mark Colombo came to the Giants because of Jason Garrett. Obviously, he played for him there and then was his offensive line coach and assistant coach there. So it is sort of an interesting wrinkle. It's like I wonder what Jason Garrett's thinking throughout this process here. But I would say in terms of the job he's done, I think it's probably going to be determined by how Daniel Jones finishes the rest of this season. There's been some good work from the Giants. I would say that the running game has actually survived a bit more, especially over the last 4 weeks, without Saquon Barkley than a lot of people thought it would. Some of their wide receiver play has been pretty impressive. You know, Darius Slayton looks like a keeper. He was good last year too, but looks like a keeper this year. And Sterling Shepard, when healthy, has been solid. But if Daniel Jones can be not quite as mistake-free as he has been over the past 2 weeks, because you can't expect the quarterback to never turn the football over. But if he can cut his turnovers in half, or at least be like closer to, I don't know, 1/2 or 2/3 of a turnover per game, which is a reasonable amount for a quarterback over the course of a season,
big fraction,
then I think that Jason Garrett is going to be probably lauded for his work. I'm not sure he'll be right back in the head coaching interview cycle, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happens within the next, if not this upcoming offseason, the following offseason, only because Jason Garrett's really well respected around the NFL. And I know that you don't get hired for being just a nice guy. You get hired for being, a talented football coach and leader. But Jason Garrett was beloved by a lot of people in Dallas. That was part of the reason why it was so difficult for Jerry to let him go. And I know he had some admirers around the league when there were still some head coaching jobs available. It looked like his job in Dallas was coming to an end.
Phil, there's going to be numerous head coaching roles up for grabs. Probably 5 after this season. Is that probably a good guess? Who are some names that we think are going to go where? Like who do you think ends up at the Jets? Who do you think inevitably probably ends up at the Broncos? Who do you think ends up at potentially the Jags? Like there's going to be a lot of places I think that are going to have some turnover. Who are some names we should? Bieniemy, obviously, Joe Brady. Is there anybody else that is out there? College coaches or anything that you're hearing?
Yeah, so Eric Bieniemy, it's not a matter of whether he'll get a head coaching job, it's which head coaching job he gets. It's a foregone conclusion, basically, at this point, unless he just chose not to take a head coaching job. It feels like it's just a matter of time for him to get a head coaching job during this cycle. A little bit harder to decide where each of these coaches will end up because, like the Jets job could become incredibly attractive or would remain attractive if they have the first pick. But if the Jets find their way to 1 or 2 wins, or I don't know, even 2 or 3 wins in their last 7 games. I know it's unlikely, but still, if it happens, and all of a sudden they're picking 3rd or 4th, well then you're not guaranteed a Trevor Lawrence or even a Justin Fields at that point. So that changes the job in a lot of ways. So if the Jaguars take over that number 1 spot, I know that'll be a really attractive job if it becomes open because A, they'd have the first overall pick. B, it's a roster that's not filled with a bunch of contracts you got to move off of, and people like living in Florida, a income tax free state. That certainly does not hurt the candidacy. But you're right, it'll probably end up being somewhere between 5 and 7 jobs. And then in terms of names, Joe Brady, you mentioned it for the Carolina Panthers. I think he'll at least be on the radar this year. I think Indianapolis, right? They have 2 coordinators I would keep an eye on: Matt Eberflus, their defensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni, their offensive coordinator. Both names that I expect to be in the coaching cycle this upcoming offseason, at least getting looks. You'll probably hear some speculation about coaches that either were fired earlier, like Dan Quinn, or coaches that have been out of the game for a year. I think it's only natural to expect. I think Raheem Morris, the Falcons' interim head coach, has a chance to at least generate some interest. Maybe not necessarily to keep the Falcons' job full time, but if he does a nice job with the Falcons, and he already has, they've won 3 of 4 games, there are going to be people that are going to say to themselves, I think he's in his mid-40s. The guy's already been a head coach once before. He's been a defensive-minded head coach. He's also coached on offense. He's got a lot of experience. Players certainly respect Raheem Morris. He's a guy that I think has a chance to generate some interest as well. And then we'll see whether some of the names that have been in the coaching cycle for the past few years will remain there, whether it's a Josh McDaniels, for example, someone who has had plenty of opportunities to interview. Obviously, has stayed in New England in the past couple of years. If the Patriots can show some offensive improvement down the stretch, I think his name will be right back there in the mix as well.
McDaniels had a goddamn job. He was the head coach of the Colts.
When?
And he turned the plane around.
Really?
They had a full press conference, a breakfast, a brunch, a meeting, a day, everything already set up.
No.
He turns the plane back around, goes back up there, and now what? Now he's just hanging out under Belichick and Steve Belichick for the next 10 years.
Reignite the fire.
Harbaugh's name's got to be completely out of conversation with how big of a dumpster fire the program is in Michigan, right?
Now, what's so funny, though, is like logic would tell you that if a guy goes to his alma mater and has, if he can't get the job done there, it's going to have value going forward. And the answer is, I think, yes. Jim Harbaugh, as an NFL head coach, was incredibly successful. We know that the reason why the 49ers job crumbled was not because of results, but rather because of personality. We know that he and Trent Baalke, their GM, it just eventually ran it.
Baalke.
Harbaugh is going to have a lot of admirers if he becomes available. NFL owners are going to be smitten by the fact that he played the game, by the fact that he has a presence about him, by the fact that he was a very successful NFL head coach. They're going to believe that in the same way that Steve Spurrier was meant for college, Jim Harbaugh is meant to be a head coach in the NFL. So he's another name that I would keep on the radar if something happens with him in Michigan. And obviously right now the seat is very hot.
Okay, last question before I let you go, and we can't thank you enough, Field. There's a vaccine allegedly coming from one of 4 different places all of a sudden, right? And if that thing gets confirmed or whatever, okayed, you think the NFL will make it mandatory to get the vaccine?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would think so. I don't want to speak too soon on that, but I would think so. Given how exhaustive the NFL has been with their measures right now to keep players from contracting COVID-19, I would think that a vaccine, if developed and proved and distributed widely, would be mandatory for players. The NFL may have the fortune of being able to buy 4 to 6 months once their season is over and see where that is actually at. But I would think so.
Hey, Field, how'd you feel about that? Because normally players get caught up in gotcha questions. That was a pretty gotcha question. And I think you answered that. I think you answered it very, very, very well. Ladies and gentlemen, you can watch them on Sunday. That fantasy football show, I click over there. I hear you talk big words, and I use it for some of my gambling picks. So I appreciate what you do every Sunday.
I'd love to hear that, man. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you checking it out.
Hey, no problem. You got anything to say to AJ Hawk? You kind of lost your shit there a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully at some point their autograph requests are allowed. I think I might have a Hawk jersey. I definitely have an Andy Katzenmoyer jersey somewhere in my closet. I think I have a Hawk one too. So, yeah, we can arrange that, right?
Yeah, send him down. Andy lives in the area too. I can get him to sign that one too.
Oh, AJ!
Wow. Ohio legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Field Yates. AJ, look at you,
awesome,
man. Dreams
dude.
coming true, dude.
So nice.
He's a smart man for having an Andy Katzenmoyer jersey. Anyone that watched any Ohio State football at that time, Andy Katzenmoyer was the man.
I don't know who that is.
Cover of Sports Illustrated.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy, man. What did he do? What did he do?
He was good.
All Big
He
Ten.
always looked cool.
First round
too.
pick.
Fast like a cat.
A lot of helmet stickers.
The helmet. You had a lot of helmet stickers too. I see a lot of photos of you from back in the day. A lot of those helmet stickers. They just hand out those things, or how do we earn those? Big hits, big plays.
No, I mean, if you saw with a lot of stickers on there, it was usually late in the season. You could maybe get 2 or 3 a game, maybe max 5, I'd say.
How do you get them?
There's a million different things. Like each position group has certain things. If the defense holds them to under 80 yards rushing, the whole defense gets one, things like that.
They don't do that as much anymore, I don't think. It's all because the branding of the helmets. They don't want to kind of get anything on them, I'd assume. But there's some really – back in the day, our high school had them. It was cool to kind of see those wherever you did it at. West Virginia didn't have it. We didn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Would have been nice.
It would have just been like Steve, Pat, Owen Schmidt, Darius Renaud. They would just had 3 helmets with
Yeah.
Mine would have been just completely. This guy's been here for 4 years. No, nothing on there. Just jogging out. That's okay. Keep this helmet clean. What's going on?
One right in the top of the center.
Right here.
That's awesome. Just touch it every time before you go to kick.
Come on, bro. It would be like one of those little mountaineers. You know what I mean? Standing there with his musket hanging over. With his musket over his shoulder. You know what I mean? He's about to go. How about this thing, AJ? By the way, I was so excited just to whip this out. and not tell really you or anybody else. This just got shipped to the office in one big ass box.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How do you ship that thing out? The thing is like, what is it, 7 feet?
It's like probably 6 feet. Yeah, it's like 7 feet probably.
It's a Columbo.
If I had to guess, probably 7 feet. It came in one big ass box though, completely already put together. There's some piping in here that has been falling apart. I don't know how it survived the trip, to be honest. The hand thing in here, you see there's like a hand thingy. See that?
Oh, PVC
nice.
pipe.
And there's
PVC.
the pipe in there, you know what I mean? But every
I
time...
mean, probably, if they're selling those things, it probably costs more to ship it than it does to buy that.
I would assume it's...
Could be.
It could be.
I mean, that'd take a long way to be a very slow sip, I think. But you could potentially change this out a little bit, make it a little bit bigger hand, turn this into a thigh. But the no free ads, but Dr. Pepper sent it. And shout out Dr. Pepper.
Shout out Dr. Pepper.
Shout out Dr. Pepper.
23 flavors.
By the way, they knew exactly. If we send it, we don't have to pay him anything. We send this to McAfee. He'll see this. It'll go right on the fucking shit. It'll go right.
You got that finger thing? Send it over.
I mean, bad business by that guy. But if he sees that, there's no way it doesn't make its way on. And they were 100% right. Yeah. It was less than 3 minutes. This thing arrived in the office and it came onto the thing. Let's get to a break here. Let's answer some phone calls on the other side. AJ, Big Sale Friday here.
Big Sale Friday.
Big sale.
Hey, also, Pat. Also, you asked me my pick last night. What happened? Seahawks won and they covered.
Wow. Okay, all right. Hey, you're right, though. Hey, we're going to go through all the games. I can't wait for AJ to make us all a lot of money because he's a
prognosticator.
Prognosticator. That's what we like.
All right, boys. I love sunglasses, but you know what my favorite kind are?
What?
That's Shady Rays, boys.
That's Shady Rays,
An
baby.
independent sunglasses company, so they are not just some big corporation that overcharges for shades. Shady Rays has one of the best warranties in all eyewear. Replacements, if shades are lost or broken for any reason, come to your door.
Yep.
Ty, it doesn't matter if you what?
You know, step on them.
No, it doesn't matter. What else?
Dog eats them. Run them over with your car.
It doesn't matter. They will replace them. Even with that strong of a warranty, they still manage to make quality that I can tell you, holding in my hands and wearing on my face, seems just as good as any expensive pair that I have ever worn. All these on here, they're better. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anyone has a problem, they throw profit out the window and do what it takes to get it right.
Wow.
Exclusively for our listeners and viewers, they gave us the best deal they have to offer. I mean, this is a Black Friday level deal, boys. You use code McAfee for 25% off any pair of shades at ShadyRays.com. You can get a quality polarized pair of sunglasses for as low as $36 with this deal.
Wow.
That's ShadyRays.com, promo code McAfee for 25% off. This is the Pat McAfee Show. We'll see you on the other side.
Whoa!
I'd also potentially taken over their 30 edibles because I thought more teammates of mine were going to want to indulge in that either before the game or after the game. And to get to London, you go through your own TSA here. The team has TSA that you have to check in. Here's my passport. The Colts already have it. They took it all from everybody. It's literally you get your bags checked and then you're through. Put them in a little thing. We're good to go. It's team's TSA. Get on the bus, fly over there. I forgot all about them. Didn't utilize them at all because how things quickly changed.
Right.
After we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're on the team bus. They go, hey, we're going through Heathrow Airport through the real-life TSA. And at that moment, I look around. I go, oh, no. I have some things in my bag right now that have vitamins in them. I have to get rid of them. And at that point, I'd whittled it down to like 15 of them. And I look at Vinatieri, and I'm like, buddy, not good. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'm just going to throw them away in here. Couldn't do that because right next to the trash can was an English police officer. So I couldn't just walk up and dump a bunch of edibles into the thing next to the guy. He's going to ask questions. We're going to the Heathrow Airport. Now I got to do what I got to do. We finally get there. Police escorts, a lot going on. So I just take down 13 edibles.
Yikes.
See you later. Vinatieri looks at me and goes, how you doing, bub? I was like, good now, but things are about to happen. He goes, I got you, little buddy. I'm like, thank you. So we go through the little check-in thing. And right before we get to the scan of the bags thing, it all hits me. I might as well have been on Cloud 45 over there in London. They check my bag, boom, boom, boom. I get selected. Something was in my bag. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, did I leave a couple in there? Oh my God. Vinatieri starts walking ahead. He turns around. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, they got my bag, man. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So he comes and stands with me. He's like, I got you, bub. I was like, they might got me, for real. I might be staying the night in England. They go through my bag. Turns out, had a vibrating toothbrush. Thing was vibrating in my bag.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it must have been this. Or it must have been my big-ass toothpaste because you can't fly with that. I was like, you got it, pal. I get all the way back to the plane. Lost my ticket somewhere. Somehow I don't have a ticket. So now I got to check into the gate people that I don't have a ticket. I'm like, I'm on this plane. I promise I am, but I don't have a ticket. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Patrick McAfee. The McAfee? No, yeah, whatever you want to call me. I just need a ticket. So now I have to sit there and wait as somebody brings me a ticket from the front while my entire team walks by me, knowing that I'm on cloud 50, just having a good time. Grigson walks by, just upset, obviously. I wish he would have known that I was in a mood where he should have talked to me there. It was just a nightmare. The London trip for me from beginning to end was not good, and I think that happens for a lot of NFL players.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Ooh, yes. What's the name of this song, AJ?
No clue. What is it?
AJ. Dude, come on.
I can barely hear it. Oh, this is the Buffaloes.
Water buffaloes.
It's the year of the buffalo. That's what it is.
I know the name. I'm on I can call them by their nickname.
Okay. Probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is Ohio River. You know. They all come. That was a guitar whammy bar.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Sweet as honeydew. You never would have thought honeydew would make it into this song.
No.
You know what I mean? If you were to hear the first couple minutes, seconds of the song, like, hey, you think the fruit honeydew is going to make it into this one? We'll see where the rhyme scheme goes, dude. Down the river of the Ohio. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. That's Year of the Buffalo, Ohio River. Absolute banger. We're joined by AJ Hawk, obviously. Big Sale Friday, 20% off everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com. Just a way for us to say thanks. You want to get some phone calls, AJ? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. By the way, congrats on predicting the Seattle Seahawks win last night.
Yeah,
AJ.
Thank you very much. I'm sure, I know you already went over the game, but do you feel better about the Seahawks moving forward now and giving them a chance?
That was kind of my entire take, is after watching that game, it was nice to see the Seattle Seahawks have a little juice. It felt like they didn't have juice maybe the last couple of weeks, like a little swagger, a little confidence. I feel like Pete Carroll's teams normally have some, like upbeat. It felt like they lost their juice a little bit. So it was nice to see that. It was nice to see our guy Carlos Dunlap make a play. Congrats to Cincinnati Bengals. Congrats to Cincinnati Bengals. Little game ender, walk-off sack for him last night. My take was, if Arizona wins last night, we immediately go, Arizona getting hot. Hey, good squad. Probably going to win the NFC West. Let's do this. But then you look at the Seattle Seahawks upcoming schedule, and it's like Jets, football team, some other bad team, some other bad team, some other bad team. So the conversation was like, yeah, but Seattle has quite a run they can go on here. So I don't think we learned it. I thought we were going to learn a lot last night. I don't think we learned anything other than the fact that it looks like Seattle Seahawks are potentially out of their little mental slump that they were in, which is good news for the NFL, bad news for the NFC West. I still think the Cardinals can go and get it, though. A couple bad decisions late there. I think some rookie decisions made there.
How about the penalty, the little
Third,
fight with Baker Patrick? That was a gigantic penalty.
I was watching Jeezy just absolutely dominate a versus against Gucci.
Oh, yeah.
And I look up, I see third down, I see a tackle made. I'm like, all right, they're getting off the field. Here we go. Defense getting off the field. We're getting our ball back. We're going to go for it because I thought the Cardinals were going to win. It was like a plus 125 bet or something like that, money line. I thought they were going to win, and it looked like they had a glimpse of it. That fight, I was like, what the I thought it was offsetting, by the way. I thought it was going to be offsetting, but then they showed the replay. It was like, nope, he definitely fucked that one up. That was just a bad decision on third down.
That's the Bengal in them. They just can't help themselves.
Oh,
jeez.
Dude.
I mean, it's true.
What is
I played with Dre, yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened, though. Like, they never really got into, like, what set him off, what was said. I don't understand.
I don't know, because that is a massive down. Okay, third down for defense is a massive down. That's why when they get a stop, normally you see everybody on defense put the fist up for fourth down because it's like a celebration. Like, hey, we just won against your offense, right? That's a big thing. And everybody knows it's third down, okay? Watch the sticks. Here we go. It's third down. And when you get a stop on third down, it should be such a celebration by the entire defense that type of shit can't even happen, won't even happen. So something serious had to be said. Like, something definitely had to go down there for Dre. But, man, what a terrible penalty. They scored 2 plays later, obviously. It's just like you just gave them points when you were supposed to get the ball back. It's just and then at the end of the game, I mean, they have 30 seconds left basically at the 28-yard line, 2 timeouts, and they took 3 deep shots. It's like, I think D-Hop had that out every single time because they were scared of him going deep.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done that, boom, boom. You still got 2 timeouts. You might as well have 4 minutes on the clock at that point. There was just a couple decisions that were made. I'm like, but the couple decisions that you can correct. So it's like, Cardinals still haven't played anywhere near their capabilities at this point.
Well, for Dre Kirkpatrick, too, like, hey, buddy, why don't you go ahead and throw a fist at Tyler Lockett? DK Metcalf probably isn't the smartest guy to try and fight because he will, in fact, put you down.
Yeah, but Dre, if he swings at Tyler Lockett, not that cool. You swing at
DK Metcalf.
Much tougher guy.
Either way, you're losing the game for your team, so at least look cool doing it.
Hey, what did you learn from it last night?
Well, going back to that play, though, that the penalty happened, it's a shame for the Cardinals. That was a hell of a play. It wasn't Isaiah Simmons came in after Lockett had done 9 spin moves trying to find a way to get to the first down marker. He comes in with an awesome angle, and he grabs the one leg, and then someone comes over the top and hits Lockett in the back. It looks all weird. I guess that's what started it because I think Dre stood over top of Lockett for a second, and then that's when people started getting upset. But I learned that the Seahawks defense can play really well. Like, they looked good last night. I don't know if that is more an indictment on the Cardinals offense and that they're not improving every single game and just trusting Hopkins, I guess, to be the man all the time, or the Seahawks defense, are they going to be back?
I thought last night was potentially going to be a Larry Fitzgerald night, and they tried, I think. They were trying.
Oh, yeah.
He
hit his over.
He hit his over, which was an easy bet. Kenyon Drake scoring a touchdown, easy bet last night, just because I think with how big of a weapon Kyler's been on the ground, I thought offense or defenses were going to start playing him a lot more. So who's the running back that's next to him normally in those potential scoring positions? Kenyon Drake is. Okay, so in the option football, if the defense is like, we're not going to let Kyler beat us, I immediately thought, so they're going to be stacked out there, which means probably up the middle, Kenyon Drake's going to be a touchdown. Happened very early. That was one of the easiest things I've ever thought. And I normally don't tweet out last minute bets like this, but I felt so good about it. I'm like, here we go. This is going to be it. Larry Fitzgerald, Thursday Night Football. Feels like Larry, primetime games, always gets the ball. Now, granted, by the way, my vocal cords on Fridays, I am so sick of them. They are the softest things of all time. Every weekend for the past 2-3 weekends, we've been having a conversation with these vocal cords. Like, you need to figure it the fuck out, okay? There's no reason for you to be this soft on a Friday. Anyways, moving forward, Larry hits his over, but there was a couple plays where I think Larry Fitzgerald, maybe listen, Larry Fitzgerald's in incredible shape. He's been doing it at a very high level for a long time. There's a couple plays last night where I think Larry Fitzgerald maybe a few years ago, that's out. Yeah. That's out the gate, you know what I mean? And last night, unless they were just great form tackles that were happening, it felt like he was getting the ball and going down immediately, which maybe that's just an off night for Larry, you know?
Well, yeah, and shout out the Cardinals for finally figuring out Isaiah Simmons. He led the team in tackles last night. Before he wasn't having anything.
Yeah, what is that, AJ? They just put him on the field more, give him more opportunities? You think that's why numbers went up, or do you think he's just figuring it out?
I mean, it's both. He obviously had a lot more opportunities last night. They said before the game, like, he's going to have an expanded role because he is so dynamic. He can play safety, gunner, linebacker, outside rusher. He can do everything. I think Vance Joseph, the D coordinator, even said, like, he is confident now. We feel like he feels good about the plan. He can just go out there and fly and rely a lot on his athletic ability because he's not thinking anymore. And I think we saw just a little glimpse of what we're going to see for a long time from him.
He's much bigger. He's put on some weight. He almost looks like a – what's that?
The dude can absolutely fly, too, for how big he is.
Fly. But he put on weight like normally freshmen from college do to like their junior year of college. It seems like Isaiah Simmons was visibly smaller before, and then now they're like, hey, we need you. We're going to put you. We like the fact that you can play all these positions, but we think this position is going to be for you, and you'll be fast enough to be able to handle it. If he becomes the guy over there, they got Buddha, him. Patrick Peterson got beat a couple times last night, but he's still, I mean, and last week with Cole, but he has the capability to take over a game. Jesus, you almost had to fire again. You almost had to fire again with that torch of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. That fire of the stove you just had there, almost as big as my Dr. Pepper finger thing right there.
See ya.
Almost burnt down the whole goddamn house. I'm going to still bet on the Cardinals. I'm going to still lose, though. I feel like that's going to be a reoccurring type thing here.
In New England next week.
I can't bet on next week then because Bill Belichick knows the future.
Tell him exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
Let's go to Eric in Pennsylvania. God damn it.
Hey, guys. How you doing? How'd you feel Good Friday?
Hey, happy Big Sale Friday as well to you, fella. How you doing, bub?
Hanging in there. Can't wait. Got two questions for you guys. One, is Tom Wolfe a fan of the Chiefs, and he's trying to sabotage the Pittsburgh Steelers on their run this year by making them wear hats?
Tom Wolfe is definitely not a Steelers fan. I will tell you that. He's from the other side, which tends to be the case because of the population in Philadelphia and the population in Pittsburgh. Normally, the state representative of governor is always from that side of the state, which it does not bear well in a lot of times for said governors on the western Pennsylvania side, which is, a Rust Belt group of people. It's just the way it goes, though, whenever I think they have like triple the population probably in Philadelphia than us, if I had to guess, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, easily.
It's big. It is very big city. Pittsburgh, great city. Hey, let's not get it twisted here.
Perfect, really.
It's tough to get around, a lot of traffic and all that shit, but it's a great city there with beautiful views, and everything like that. You go to Philadelphia there, it's like, oh, dude, this is a big fucking city. It's a big city over there.
But if anything, I mean, this is actually helping the Steelers because they'll have to deal with it at every single one of their home games, and the teams coming to visit are not used to it.
This is like the Florida home. This is like the Florida home field advantage where people come down to the humidity. They're used to it. Try playing it at 2 miles above sea level with a mask on every day. The Steelers and the Eagles are going to be ready for that thing. Have you heard about this, AJ?
Oh yeah, I just don't see how it happens. I don't think that the PA is going to let it happen. I don't think the NFL is going to let it happen. They're going to figure something out.
All right, let's run through some games and hear your thoughts on it because you are a
prognosticator.
Yes.
Titans at Ravens. Ravens are favored by 5 points. That's in Baltimore.
Okay, so I've thought a little bit about this game.
I
like the Tennessee Titans here. I think they're trying to get back on track. I don't know about the spread. I would take the Titans. I don't expect them to cover, but it's possible.
What? I don't know what that means.
What, dude?
Like
you expect them to win, they'll cover. AJ.
Yeah, if they win, they cover because they're starting at 5-0.
Yeah, my bad.
Hey, AJ, no, this is a good question because a lot of people do ask this question with the spread here. So when Baltimore's favored by 5 points, the sports books think that at the beginning of the game, the Tennessee Titans should start with 5 points and the Ravens have no points. Let's begin now. This is a fair contest, right? And that line will move throughout the week, varying on injuries, COVID reports, maybe smart gamblers hammering one side because they know inside information, so that'll move. That is what the spread is. Look at the beginning of the game. It's not 0-0. It is Tennessee 5, Baltimore 0. Now just go on with the game. And then same thing at the end of the game, obviously. Whatever the score is, just add 5 points to it. That's kind of how the spread works. So if you like the Titans in this game, you definitely like them with a 5-0 head start to start the entire game.
I read it wrong. I for some reason thought the Titans were favorites in this game because of all that's going on in Baltimore and all.
So there it is.
No one really knows what's happening. So yeah, I definitely like the Titans to win. Obviously, yeah, if you want to bet on the Ravens on the money line or the spread, take them. But yeah, I think the Titans win.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's go.
All right, I'm excited to hear, just more gambling terms that you know a lot about out there. Just keep throwing it out there. You're becoming this
prognosticator.
I mean, a super professional prognosticator here. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Lombardi used that terminology.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Most Italians, by the way, not just Lombardi. What do you got?
Ravens 5-13. Their last 18 as a home favorite, AJ.
Oh, boom. That's a nuke. See, those are things that we like to use on Hammered Down to make our decisions. They're called trends and stats. But if it's not 100%, who cares? Packers at Colts. Colts are favored by 1.5 points against co-host of our show, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. How do you see this one going?
It's going to be a good one, man. I really do. But I think Green Bay wins. I just think that the Colts D may give them trouble early. There'll be a point. Like a lot of times, the Packers could jump out to a hot start. It's always fun when you see Aaron come out there. First drive goes like 5 for 5 he's got 80 yards and a touchdown to Devontae already, and they've ran the ball a few times. Like that could happen. But I think at some point the Colts defense is going to settle in. They're going to hold up for a while. But I just don't think the Colts offense is good enough to keep up.
See, the thing about it is Phillip Rivers seems to do very well when he doesn't have to move much, okay? So if the Packers can get pressure on Phillip Rivers, this is a very different game, okay? This game revolves around the offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts on whether or not they can keep Phillip Rivers safe, because if they can keep him safe, he throws darts. And there's a lot of people say he's inaccurate or whatever. I don't think that's the case at all after watching. Now, will he miss a throw? Yes, he's not going to be perfect, but he can put the ball into places if he's there. I'm intrigued to watch Aaron and that Colts defense battle, though. Darius Leonard, the maniac, middle linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, he said he felt slighted by Aaron Rodgers, saying that Fred Warner was the best inside linebacker in the game. Now, granted, Aaron's friends with Fred, trains with Fred, and probably thinks that Fred doesn't get enough recognition nationally, so that's potentially why he said that. But whatever the reason, if the maniac feels a little bit slighted through his career here at Indianapolis, when he has a chip on his shoulder, he plays the football really good. So, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting game. But anytime you get a chance to watch old Aaron play the football, you have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't know what his over-under total yards is, but Nyheim Hines is what really worries me. Because, I mean, he's not like the same guy as Kamara, obviously, but he's similar in how they use him and how explosive he is, and I think he could have a very big day.
It's very interesting that Nyheim Hines probably earned himself a lot more reps, and I'm thankful for it. He's been a weapon for us for the last few years that nobody really knew about because the stable of running backs for the Colts was so deep for so long. But anytime 21 gets the ball, there's a chance that thing's going all the way to the house. And Phillip Rivers loves throwing it to his running back. What do you got, Tiggs?
There is a nuke with the Packers. The last 12 times they didn't cover a game, the next game they covered.
Raji.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Who are you rooting for in this game?
Yeah, well, there's a poll that Zito put out earlier. It said, who should I be rooting for this weekend? The team that overpaid me or the team that has my best friend playing quarterback? The Colts currently have a 51.7% poll vote winning percentage over the Packers at 48.3%, over 13,000 votes in there. The only thing I hope is that this doesn't end up 50-50. I'm just going to let the people decide who I'm cheering for this weekend. If it goes 50-50, it's going to be problematic because I don't want to have to make the decision because both of those things are so incredibly nice. I mean, Jim Irsay overpaid me a lot of money. He just gave me a plane and paid, he did a lot of things. Aaron, though, has been so incredibly kind to us with his time and his. So this is a tough position for me to be in. I'm going to be 100% serious.
You got to fade the poll. What have we learned from this poll is that the opposite thing is typically the correct thing. And unfortunately here, it's Aaron Rodgers, your best friend.
Let's go to the next game. Falcons at Saints. Saints with Taysom Hill starting at quarterback. Alvin Kamara will be playing as of Field Yates' announcement here just a little bit ago. Saints are favored by 4.5 points at home against the Falcons. How do you see this one?
I like the Falcons here. That may surprise you a little bit, Pat, but I think the Falcons are going to win this game. I don't even want to do the spread. I just think Falcons straight up. They find a way to win the game. Now, Taysom, well, let's see what he has, man, in a full game. That's why I'm very curious. The Saints don't even know what they have in Taysom Hill. I think when he is under center the whole game, and as they said, Jameis doesn't even have there's no package for Jameis, which that could easily be a lie. They could throw Jameis in the first series just to mess with him.
Yeah, that's like Bruce Arians saying Rob Gronkowski's a blocking tight end, then the next week he had like 6-7 targets or something like that. And Bruce Arians then saying Antonio Brown needs less plays, and the next play there was entire play design strictly for Antonio Brown. Coaches, you never know what's smoke and what isn't smoke, but Shefty coming out and saying that Taysom Hill's a starter and being pretty solid behind it. I think that's their main focus this week. I'm excited to see how it turns out. You've picked 2 underdogs to win straight up so far. That's big payouts for people if they're listening to the AJ Hawk prognostication situation.
Not a ton of respect for Taysom Hill. The line has dropped to 3.5 since the announcement that Taysom Hill was going to be the starting quarterback.
Okay, and that's probably going to keep moving. Let's go to Patriots-Texans. Texans are a +1.5 at home against the Patriots.
Patriots all day. I think the Patriots haven't figured it. Now, I don't think the Patriots are built to go make a run and win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to squeak out some victories, and I think this is one of them.
All right, Eagles-Browns. Browns are without Myles Garrett. Browns favored by 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Myles Garrett not being in, I think, hurts them a lot, but I think the Eagles are a mess still, and the Browns have the opportunity to get to 7 wins. Like, that's a big deal for them. They could be 7-3 in Cleveland. That's huge.
Steelers-Jaguars. Jaguars are getting 10.5 points to start that game against Pittsburgh Steelers. Jake the Snake Luton is playing, I believe, against that defense.
So.
We'll see how.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go Steelers. I'm trying to find a way that I could pick the Jags, but I don't think I can.
Okay, so you think they're going to win by at least 11? Look at you, talking gambling talk here. You're even giving decisions. And the last one here, let's go Chiefs and Raiders. Victory lap was the topic of conversation all week by Andy Reid and the boys. Derek Carr's had to answer questions about it. He's about fed up with it. John Gruden said it's some smart aleck bus driver. Chiefs are favored by 7 at the moment, traveling to Las Vegas. How do you see this one going?
I like the Chiefs all day, especially. Andy Reid spoke about it. Andy Reid is upset. The guy doesn't seem to be upset at anything. He seems to be so happy just wearing Hawaiian shirts, probably Crocs, rolling around, just having fun. So I think the Chiefs put it on him.
Andy Reid 17-7 after a bye as well.
And now he has
against the spread, sorry.
Well, and how about a vendetta, too?
Yeah.
So do we have any Andy Reid vendetta games? I'm sure there isn't many.
Plus, this is basically for the division. They lost at them already. It's a revenge game as well.
All right, let's go last phone call here. Let's go to Jason in Valpo, Indiana. What's going on, Jason?
Not much. How you doing? Happy Feel Good Friday.
Hey, happy Big Sale Friday to you, pal. How's it going?
Yeah.
Good. With regards to Vito's poll for today, Vito's poll.
Vito.
Damn it.
Man, that would have been so much better if you just stuck with the Vito thing.
With Aaron Rodgers and the Colts going at it, the Colts have 2 quarterbacks on the roster making between $40 and $50 million. Both of them are up this year. Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers' replacement. Why don't the Colts go after Aaron Rodgers? And Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays start coming live from Indianapolis.
Hey, Jason. Hey. Whoa. Hey, listen. Packers fans don't want to hear that, but it'd be awesome to have him in this city around here. Wouldn't it be, Todd?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It's never going to happen, but
Whoa,
it would be
don't
awesome.
say that. Why do you think that, dude?
He's not fucking coming to Indy.
What's your deal, dude?
You would. Why wouldn't he?
Because he's going to win a Lombardi this year and next year, and then they're going to say, you know what, we're going to have to extend this guy for 7-8 more years.
Okay.
You wish.
You know who I think is coming to Indy? Gordon Hayward. Welcome back home, buddy.
Nice.
Welcome on, Gordon. Come on back home. Turn down the Celtics. Says, I won't go back home to Indiana. That's what I think. I have no idea, but I just think it's going to happen. AJ, any final things to say going into the weekend here to the Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio listeners?
Great game last night. Glad I picked it right, and hopefully people won some money and it can follow the rest of my picks that I've been.
Hey, I like that, being a professional picker here. A little prognostication from our friend AJ Hawk over there in Columbus, Ohio. To everybody else that has listened or watched this week, we can't thank you enough. Hammer Don, a podcast about gambling that comes out of this studio. We'll start at 3:30 at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. 20% off everything at store.patmcafeeshow.com because we want to say thanks. If you purchase something from there, you'll automatically be entered into potentially winning one of 3 PS5s that we're giving away.
Wow.
Chris Mad Dog Russo is next. He's a legend. Have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.
Damn.
Thank you. You have a great weekend too. AJ, now that we're not on Sirius anymore, you have anything you want to say to the YouTube people or anything special for the watchers or anything?
Come on, AJ.
Come on, AJ.
I did enjoy, while I was waiting, I enjoyed watching you as the old man swing that little baby hammer around, that baby sledgehammer off the deal. That was fun.
Oh, from the Lucas Oil Stadium thing with the yeah.
When you dressed up as the old man, which first off, I don't know how you fooled anybody. Maybe just because they were far away, you didn't fool me.
What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, are you kidding me?
What do you mean I didn't fool you? I literally look like I'm 90 years old.
Yeah. You see the walk?
What are you talking about?
After you watch your first real kick, I think anyone would recognize your kicking style.
That's interesting because a lot of fans have come up to me and said, they were like, I knew it was you as soon as the first kick happened thing. I was like, man, you motherfuckers know my swing? That's
really?
That's very nice. I don't even know if I could do that. I appreciate you guys paying attention that much. By the way, I missed more than 2 of those because I couldn't see anything with the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I look down, because the mask is on your skin, it's like one of those really nice masks that conforms to your skin or whatever. But when I look down, the thing just covered my eyes. And then it would go back up, you know what I mean? So when I looked down to kick, it was a little problematic. And I did not practice at all and could have never guessed that was going to happen until I was out there in front of everybody doing it. So I had to kind of look at it, and then it was like, all right, let's imagine the ball is there and kind of go at that thing blindfolded. So we're really 70,000, but that could have went a lot of different ways very quickly. And I'm thankful to get out of there and it being a little bit of a success story, to be honest with you.
I mean, I thought it was very impressive. But anybody that knows, like, did you go trick-or-treating as a kid? Like, if you tried to get a costume that had a mask, you usually took that off by house 3 because you couldn't see and it was too hot. So you're out there draining 40-yarders with a mask.
There was, I think it was Corey Bojorquez, the punter for the Bills.
Yeah.
It was either the punter for the Bills. Yeah, it was the Bills, right?
Yeah.
The punter for the Bills. He knew it was me. So like while I'm standing there, he was like, "Come on, Pat!" Like you actually hear him say, and I like miss one, and I missed another one. I hear him. I'm like, "It's getting ugly over here. It's getting ugly over here." That was a good time. I can't do those anymore because nobody's allowed into a public place anymore.
Oh, no, there's fans this weekend.
Yeah, but
can't go on the field.
Can't be on the field.
Can't be on the field.
Hey, not for long, probably. Yeah.
You know, the Big Ten now is not allowing parents at the games. Like they used to let the parents there, and now parents can't even show up.
Keep them out.
It's about time.
Listen, it's about time we make those parents fucking watch from home like everybody else.
Yep.
So what? What? You drove those kids to practice their entire life since they were kids? So, dude. So what? They're living a dream that you probably had for a long time too. So
who cares?
Fucking go home, dude.
Watch it on ABC.
Okay. Hey, maybe even watch it on the Stadium Network. Home of AJ Hawk.
Good idea.
Get your ass out of the fucking stadium. Okay, we don't need you.
Fubo TV.
It's not about you, all right? What are you all, LeVar Ball? Okay, get out of the fucking way. It's not about you anymore. It's wild, dude. Like they're up. They're up
so far away.
Don't you think though, Pat? Don't you? Okay. Yeah, whatever. Nothing makes sense. That's why I don't even like.
No. We want everybody to survive. Though.
Yep. Health is wealth.
Obviously, but you would think the Horseshoe seats 105 plus thousand people. Can we have 88 parents in there?
No.
No, dude.
AJ, come on.
What are you talking about? Because if their parents get in, what? Other parents are going to want
That's
in
right.
there.
Well, and then
Maybe only the starters' parents.
The band, the band, and the dance squad parents aren't allowed to be there to watch theirs.
Well, I don't even think the band's allowed in the building. Yeah, they're singing from the outside in.
Keep them out.
Yeah, I think they're.
Cut that.
What you just said?
Yeah.
Dump it.
Dump it.
Dump it.
Foxy, dump it.
Dumped.
Thank you.
Hey, that's the show. We got to get out of here. We're going to keep track of your picks, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I got him.
He hit on Monday night, too, with the Vikings as well.
Oh, he's 2 for 2 this week.
AJ!
I did, pal. I did it.
This guy never ends.
I love it. Gumpy's the man.
I'm currently 2-1 on the week so far.
Here we go.
2-0 then, right? Am I 2-0? Yeah.
Well, no, this week just started yesterday because Monday was last week, dude. You went undefeated last week.
Yeah. Not on my calendar. My calendar, Monday, Thursday, 2-0.
No, dude.
We are a fucking NFL fans.
NFL
We're a football show, so we go NFL week,
Starts
dude.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday night.
is Monday.
Okay, I'm 1-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, last week you were 1-0.
Yeah.
This week also 1-0. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. That was me being negative there. You are 1-0.
You sure you don't want to take the points with the Titans, AJ?
Yeah, you sure you don't want that, dude? You want the points or you want to say
probably should.
straight up?
No, you could. I should get the points too. But I'm saying if
No,
somebody.
those are two different bets, AJ. Those are two different bets, AJ.
Okay, no. If I was placing a bet, I would pick the Titans straight up to win this game.
Plus 200. That's a plus 200 bet from AJ.
Those are very good odds there, AJ. Like very good odds.
I'm taking them. I mean, that would be if I was a gambler. I think the only things that would excite me would be things that I had pretty good odds on. I wouldn't care about anything that's 50-50.
Yeah, but then once you do it enough, you're like, all right, enough of the good odds.
I'm not making any money.
The reason why those odds are so good is because it's potentially a little bit tasty. Yeah.
Unless it was a super boost.
Yeah, super boost. My super boost is up. Do we have that photo? I got a super boost this weekend. Best odds on any gambling platform for this bet. Now, granted, we have been on quite a schneid this week. I got a 7-point teaser. I got the Bengals at plus 8.5 against the Washington football team. I got the Steelers at minus 3.5, so 3.5-point favorites instead of 10.5-point favorites whenever this was created against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That feels pretty good, right?
Yeah, it does.
And the Chiefs minus 1.5 against the Raiders. Now, I will say 2 out of the last 3 super boosts that have lost have been because of the Steelers and the Chiefs. So, I mean, feels like I'm going back to the well here, and this could potentially be problematic. But I want to let you know we're getting back hot, and this one's hit.
It is the win.
Plus, it was originally plus 130, I think, or plus 120.
Yeah.
Now it's plus 180 odds. So you bet 100, you get $180 back on that. So let's go ahead and have a good time with it. You can only bet 50 though, by the way. So you do get 90 back. So $50 max because the odds are so boosted over there.
Yeah, the only one that scares me is the Steelers because we've talked about this week and the Steelers players this week. Sometimes they just lay an egg on the road against bad teams.
Spokane's not going to let him do it.
No.
Not after his appearance on this
Those days
show.
are over.
Did you see us talk to Bob Spokane?
I didn't get to see the actual talk, but I knew he was coming on.
Massive neck, dude. Did you just do all neck because you were a linebacker? Has your neck shrunk since your playing days, or did you have his Spokane's neck, dude, was a triangle from his shoulders to his dome.
Freakish.
It was unbelievable.
like a Takeo Spikes type neck.
Yeah.
No, my neck is definitely smaller than it was. I was big into neck, starting probably 5th grade through the age of 34.
Some of the photos.
5th grade.
Oh, yeah.
5th grade. His dad, I could see Pistol down the basement with a towel over his head. Lift! Lift. Those partner neck exercises were the worst things I was ever a part of. You all right, lay down. I go McAfee, Barwis would say. And it's like you get a towel and they wrap it around your head and you have to do 5 partner resistance lifts, right? And you have to go all the way back, chin to chest or whatever. And the first couple, they're just feeling out how strong you are. Like, yeah, we'll give it to you. Go ahead, we'll give it to you. And then like 3, 4, and 5, it's just like they can stop you at any point that they want to because your head. And then they're like, all right, now turn to your side. So you're laying on your side. Now you got to do this way and you got to go this way. I would leave there and I just couldn't even walk. I was like Frankenstein walking out of there. I'm like, God damn. And AJ's been doing that since 5th grade.
Jesus, AJ.
5th grade. Those are the things. Those are the things that happen.
I think my neck's tiny now compared to what it was. I need to get a neck machine. It's hard doing manual neck by myself down in the basement. I gotta wake my wife up maybe. I don't know.
Hey, hold tall. Okay. Don't let me get my chin in my chest, all right? Don't do it. The what's that one? They have that. Didn't we try to get it? Where's Zito? Zito and I tried to buy this for the office.
Oh,
and I think
love
it was one of the first ones that Phil said.
You put weights on the top of it? Like it's like a helmet and you put weights on?
No, it's that thing that attaches. Joe Rogan, I think, I got influenced into buying it. It has like a bungee cord on the back of it. And like you
attach it to a wall.
Yeah, you attach it to a wall. It's an entire.
You guys didn't do Olympic sit-ups?
The Iron Neck?
The Iron Neck. That's what it's called, the Iron Neck. What were you going to say, Nick?
You guys didn't do Olympic sit-ups? I know AJ probably did them.
Olympic sit-ups?
Yeah, you get someone laying flat on the ground and you put the towel over their face and they try and sit up, and then when they sit up, you move the towel. They do it in Penn State's locker room all the time.
Oh,
good God.
What happens when I sit up, though?
Feel good
What happens
Friday.
when I sit up, Nick?
Faces up.
You get a bag of tea.
Whoa. Is that what happens in Canada? You guys are doing that? We got to worry about Canadian bullies.
Yeah. Seriously.
Who is it do you get the front or the back of the human?
It depends.
Well, and who's doing
Dealer's
fucking
choice.
sit-ups with a goddamn blindfold on? If you're laying on your back in an area where there are other humans that are potentially on a football team, okay, you are not doing a blindfolded sit. That'd be tough. That'd be a tough sell. That'd be a tough sell.
They actually do that in Heavyweights, the movie. I don't know if you guys remember that part.
Tony Perkins.
Oh, you're talking about lunch being canceled due to lack of.
Exactly.
That's terrible. People are terrible. You know what's not terrible?
What's that?
NetSuite. Ooh. If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that running a business is tough, okay?
No.
Yeah.
But you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary.
Really?
Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite.
Oh, yeah.
Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it, okay? Ditch the spreadsheets and all the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place instantaneously.
My God.
Whether you're doing a million
and millions
or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join over the 20,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Pat. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Pat. That's netsuite.com/PAT. netsuite.com/Pat.
What a great deal.
Wow. It's a good deal there. I didn't want people to think it was NetSuite like as in sweets.
Yeah.
Because it is sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
It's sweet, super sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sweet as in like you're in a suite.
Hotel suite.
Because it's so
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got a picture. What's that, dude?
So what does NetSuite do?
What don't they do?
Dude,
is the real question.
Did you not listen?
Listen to this, dude. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more, dude. Fucking figure it out, bro.
All right, thanks. I was just curious. Like, what is it? Software? What is it? A person? What is it?
Yeah, it's software for you to grow into because you've outgrown all the other bullshit software. That's what NetSuite is.
How's that
dude.
make you feel?
How's that?
Makes me feel great about NetSuite.
figured.
There you go.
I think we got a picture of your neck, I believe, somewhere.
Jeez.
Is that a real picture?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's real? That looks photoshopped almost.
You look like one of the Knights of Rohan.
Bro, you are, I don't know what that is. I wish I knew that reference, but you literally are just a triangle from the bottom of your ears to your shoulder there. I mean, that's since 5th grade. You've had people holding towels on your head saying, lift your chin to your chest, you little punk, Eric. Golly.
You put so many kids in lockers.
Never once. Come on, Connor.
Dude.
Well, you killed Kirk Herbstreit with that.
Yeah.
Good God.
That's awesome, dude.
I bet Connor was a bully.
Oh,
No.
for sure.
No.
Oh, he did high school.
100%.
I got bullied.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
were 23 in senior year. so.
Exactly. I got bullied.
Yeah. He was a full adult his sophomore year of high school. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I was eating lunch alone.
Yeah.
Don't
Drinking
leave
beer with
him
your
alone.
meals.
Can't sit here. All right. That's the show. Hammer Down's in 27 minutes. AJ, my vocal cords need a fucking pep talk. Is there anything you could say to him?
Nope. I got no.
Oh, hey,
nothing to give
hey,
him, dude.
AJ, come on.
Please.
You call, you know who you could call? Call Joe Tessitore, friend of the program, friend of the show, your buddy. I bet he has to deal with it. He calls boxing, football, college, NFL. He does everything.
He doesn't do 17 hours a week, okay?
Those vocal cords take care of you. You start taking care of them. You need to get some spray, some honey, some other stuff.
Hey, thank you, Tone. Look at that.
Baby, Tony.
That's show host Tone right there. Thank you, Tone. I do need that.
Well, and take it
Main
easy on the
person,
vocal
hey,
cords.
Pat,
You
the
got
main guy
kicked
you
in the
need to reach
face
out to.
on Wednesday.
I did
all
get
right?
kicked in the
You know,
face.
you just got out of a war.
I forgot it.
Games.
What was that, AJ?
I think the person that we all know, the person that can really, truly help you, someone that puts out more content than you, Gary Vee. You know Gary Vee has a vocal program for sure.
Pull them up.
I forgot about that.
Well, I tell you, just fucking do it. Stop talking about it. Just be about it. Just fucking do it, dude.
I'm going to.
Good.
It's about time.
That's what Gary would say. Just fucking do it. It doesn't fucking matter. Just do it.
That's the show, dude. That is it. Hey, Big Sale Friday, 20% off everything. Stored up at McAfeeShow.com. If you buy something from 48 hours ago all the way through whenever the sale ends, which we don't know when it is going to be, you're automatically entered into potentially winning one of our 3 PS5s we're giving away.
Wow!
Yeah, we appreciate you all. Have a great weekend. AJ, we will see you on Monday, brother.
Can't wait. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Hammer Don is in 19 minutes right here, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Be a friend, tell a friend. We'll see you on Monday.